Hmm. Hmm. Hello, good evening. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. Hello, hello, hello. Good evening. God bless you. All right, I'm ready to get started. Are you having tummy troubles, digestive problems? Have you been diagnosed with Crohn's or IBS? Do you have problem eliminating? We're going to get a little personal tonight. But I want to help you because I've seen people and I know people that have to be very concerned when they go outside or where it is that they choose to go, or they can't go on long trips or long car rides because they're concerned if there's going to be a bathroom, if they're going to have to go to the bathroom, or they want to go out with friends and then they don't eat because they're concerned what happens after they eat. So tonight I'm going to be talking about what you can do naturally using God's medicine for digestive issues. And so I'm going to list some of the digestive issues tonight. We're going to talk about the signs and symptoms and what to look for. Maybe if you haven't been diagnosed, what you can look for so that you can know that there's something going on and you'll learn what to say to the doctor. I'm going to give you some questions to ask the doctor, because the whole point of the matter is so that you can be educated, so you can be empowered to know what's going on with your body and to be able to handle it naturally so that you have a greater response, greater effect, that you can live long and strong, right? The Bible promises us 120 years. Um, and so we don't want to live long and not strong. Like, we don't want to live long and have all these issues and diagnoses and things. And I've seen some people, they retire at 65 or 62. And I have a couple of friends, they're retired around 60. And it's like, what's the point if when you retire, you can't enjoy your life properly because you have all these health issues and health challenges? So I want to welcome you into the room tonight. Today is Wellness Wisdom Wednesday, and I'm your host, Dawn Horizons. I'm a certified holistic health coach and wellness coach. I'm also a massage therapist. I have 20 plus years under my belt with my business officially, and 30 plus years in the health and wellness industry. I know I don't look that old. But I have over 30 years of experience in this. Um, hey, Cynthia, Ronald, Sophie, good evening. God bless you. Salida, I see you. Good evening. God bless you. Thank you for being here. We're going to jump into it. I have so much to teach you tonight. And so, as always, I'm going to teach you based on my knowledge and experience, that of my clients, as well as my training. But most importantly, and this is why you like to come into the room, is that I'll be teaching you from the Spirit of God and being led by Holy Spirit. We have to be led by Holy Spirit in all things. So come on in the room. Excuse me. Once you come in the room, go ahead and press that like button and press the share button so that other people can get this information. Okay. So tonight, well, over the past few weeks, I've been talking and trying to give a strong foundation and talking about the kidneys. That was 2 weeks ago. Last week, I talked about the liver. Tonight, I'm going to be talking about digestive health and all of the tummy troubles and issues. So we're going to be talking somewhat about the colon and how all these three work together: the kidneys, the liver, and the stomach. And then next week, we're going to talk about the pancreas. So I'm going to be dealing with diabetes and other pancreatic issues like pancreatitis, and also getting to the spiritual root of diabetes. And you're going to be really surprised to hear about that. So I'm looking forward to sharing this information with you. And we'll be talking about that next week. So tonight we're going to talk about, sorry for that little noise, we're going to be talking about digestive health. And I want for you to be able to piece together the kidneys, the livers, and the stomach, and we're going to see how they work together. There's going to be some similarities in the testing. My whole purpose is to educate you, to empower you, right? Hey, Big Bob, welcome into the room. Thank you for being here. Is to educate and empower you so that you know what to look for with your own body, so that you are an educated consumer and an advocate for your own health. When you go to the doctors, you know what they're talking about. You know what questions to ask, because here's the thing that I've seen and I know. When they know that you're educated, or you're educated about your body, or you're educated in some form or fashion in the health industry, they talk to you a little bit different. Okay. They also listen a little bit different. Okay. So I want to empower you with what to look for and what to ask for, so that they can treat you a little different. They can treat you a little better. You can know what tests you need to have, and then know how to read the test. I think that's very, very important. So that's what I want to empower you with tonight. So I'm going to bring together the kidneys, the livers, and the whole digestive issue, or the whole digestive system. And we're going to talk about that. So let's see. I definitely am going to be going through my notes tonight, because I have so much to share. And I want to make sure that you leave with education and empowerment. So I hope that you take notes. If you're not able to take notes and you feel like, well, it's better for me to listen the first time, and maybe I'll take notes later, then you can watch this over again on the replay. You can see this on my channel. Okay, so tonight we're going to cover a few things. We're going to cover how digestion, where digestion begins. Okay, it doesn't begin in your stomach, it begins in your mouth. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the role of the large intestine, the small intestine, the liver, the kidneys, all of those things. And we're going to go over some of the common digestive issues: IBS, GERDs, acid reflux, Crohn's disease, constipation, diarrhea, bloating. And you may say, those are not serious. And no, they're not. But if constipation, diarrhea, bloating continue for a long time, it can become serious. It can turn into other things, and it disrupts your life. It disrupts your life. You don't want to go out and then you're feeling all blah and bloated after. You want to be able to go out, eat at a nice restaurant, have some good food, and have a good time with family and friends. Okay. So if you're one that your digestive health has been affecting your life, then this is something that you really want to pull up, you want to lock in, and you want to listen to. So again, I just ask that you either hit like or subscribe, and then you share it out to other people. Help me get this out, increase this on the algorithm, so that people that are suffering with these issues can find this information so that they can get the help that they need. Amen. Okay, so let's see. So let me just start with prayer. Father, in the name of Jesus, I commit this time into your hands. I commit this live into your hands, and all of your people, all of your sons and daughters who are going to come tonight into the room that are going to learn about this information. I ask you, Father, in the name of Jesus, that you protect the airways, that you protect your sons and daughters, Lord God. And I just plead the blood of Jesus over myself and over this live, Lord, that we won't have any nonsense in this room, and that the people that are coming into the room, they want to learn, they want to be helped. And Father, let them feel your presence, Lord God, and help them to absorb this information so that they can begin to walk in divine health as you have prepared for them even before the foundation of the earth. And so I thank you for each and every person here tonight. In Jesus' name, amen. I ask that you give them eyes to see, ears to hear, and a heart and spirit to understand, so that they can make the necessary lifestyle changes so that they can obtain the health that Jesus died for them, and they can be partaker of it. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. Okay. So this education, this live tonight is for educational purposes. It is for awareness purposes. It should not take the place of your physician or what your physician is telling you. This information is to add on to what you may already know or what your physician is telling you. And like I said, it is to help you to be an educated consumer so that you can take what you're learning here, bring it back to your doctor, ask questions, ask to see your lab results so that you can learn for yourself and you'll know what to look for. And then you can say, hey, doc, what does this mean? Or I see this and I have questions about that. Okay, so that's what this is for. So again, this does not take the place of your doctor. This is information that you can use along with your doctor. Take this information back to your doctor, okay, and ask questions. Okay, so I'm going to start with some of the very common digestive issues that most people have, okay? And that's gas and bloating. That'll be the first, probably the most minimal, but the most common and sometimes very, very disruptive. You don't want to be in a public place and you're passing gas, okay? So let's talk about why you have that and what to do about it. So some of the symptoms might be you feel full or your stomach feels tight after you eat. And typically it's because you ate too much. Okay. We often eat with our eyes first, right? We see something, we're like, oh, I want that. Oh, that's so good. Like at Thanksgiving, you make this big old plate and then you can't even finish it. Okay. So we don't want to do that. You want to eat minimally. You want to eat moderately. Okay. If you want, if there's a big spread and you're like, oh, I want everything, take a little bit. You can always go back for more. But what happens is typically you put too much on your plate. In your mind, it's like you have to eat all that. And some of you may have even grown up in a family or with a mom who's like, oh no, you need to finish your plate, or you're not getting up from here until you finish your plate. Okay. And so if you don't put as much on your plate, you won't have that compulsion or that obligation to feel like, oh, I have to eat all of this. One of the things that I did when I was on my fitness journey in 2017, 2018, is I'll go to a restaurant, I'd order the food that I wanted, and then I would ask for a to-go box, like immediately. So as soon as I got my food, I would ask for a to-go box. I would split my food in half, and I would take half of it off my plate and put it in a to-go box and put it to the side. So that if I had that mindset, oh, I have to finish my plate, I was only eating half the amount of food. And let me tell you, it works. So that's a hack right there. Okay. That'll help you. That'll work for you so that you're not overeating. So you can be experiencing gas and bloating because you're overeating, you're gluttonous. So repent for the gluttony, spirit of gluttony, right? You don't want to eat to the point that you're feeling full, you're feeling tight. If you begin to pay attention while you're eating, you'll start to notice that you're starting to feel full. So you can stop eating before you really feel full or you're so tight. My birthday was this past week. And so I had a birthday dinner with some family and friends. And I remember one of my friends there was so full, he sat back like this. And it's like we could have just rolled him out. His hand on his stomach, and he was like, tight. So the food was good and he enjoyed it, but he ate too much. Okay. So what happens when we eat too much? We're very sluggish. We're very tired. I always talk about your digestive system is your primary system. So every other system of the body is going to take a back seat to your digestive system. So if your stomach is full with all this food that you just ate, now you may have brain fog. You may not be as quick on your feet or quick with your thoughts. You may not be quick with your actions because now blood flow and activity to your muscles and to your limbs is going to be limited because now they're going to the aid of your digestive system to help you to break down this food. And this is why you'll feel like so sluggish and so sleepy and tired after you eat, because now all of your body's energy is going to break down this food. Okay. I talked about this a couple of weeks ago too, but briefly, food combinations can also affect your digestion. Certain foods should not go together. And when we pair them, it uses up more of our body's natural resources to break that food down. Okay. So food choice is also important. And so since digestion begins in the mouth, not in the stomach, it begins in the mouth. And so when you start to chew, you have your saliva that comes out, helps to break down the food, enzymes that come that start to break down the food, and you swallow it. And then you have enzymes that are prepared and they're ready, like, gimme, gotcha, in your stomach to help to break down this this food that's about to come down. And this is why I'm against chewing gum, because digestion begins in the mouth. So once you start chewing, the saliva is mixing with the gum, and you're chewing and chewing and chewing. And then your stomach and your enzymes are there like, okay, where's the food? But no food comes down. So that also can promote or exacerbate bloating, acid reflux, because now you have these gastric juices that are coming out like firefighters ready to digest, but no food comes, and then that can affect your intestinal lining. Okay. All right. So gas and bloating is very common, and typically is by your food choices, greasy foods, fried foods, okay, and your food combinations, okay. So if you're having protein, let's say you have a steak for dinner, like tonight, I had some steak strips and shrimp with broccoli. So I made shrimp and steak broccoli, okay, and I didn't have rice. I did have a sweet potato, but that is going to digest differently, okay. So it would be different if I had a white potato and steak. Yeah, I would have been totally sleepy after that, but I wasn't. I also didn't finish my plate. I left some for later, okay, because I noticed I started to feel full, and I didn't want to be so full that I was tired. And then knowing I had to come here to teach and all of that, I want to make sure that I'm my best. I don't need to be sitting here, especially late now, and trying to digest food, and I don't have the mental clarity that I need. Okay. So be mindful maybe of your routine or the responsibilities and obligations that you have throughout the day, and choose your food wisely. For example, if you're at work during the day and you go out for lunch, that's not a good time to have steak and, and potatoes. Okay. So have steak and broccoli, have steak on a salad, have salmon on a salad. This is where food combinations are so, so important, because you have to go back to work. And you don't want to be sluggish and sleepy when you get back to work. And then you're watching the clock, like, when can I go home? Okay. So food combinations is very important. The other thing I want to say about digestion starting in your mouth is to make sure that you chew your food properly. Too often we're eating in a hurry. We're eating on the go. We're eating and we're not even sitting down. We're driving, we're standing, we're talking to people or whatever, or we're on our phone watching something. We want to make sure that when we eat, we sit down and we're resting while we're eating. Okay. That you take the time to chew your food thoroughly, properly, at least 32 chews. And so for some foods that may dissolve in your mouth faster, 32 is too much. But the point is, make sure you chew your food properly, that you're not swallowing chunks of food. So that's something else that can affect the process of elimination. It can cause bloating and gas as well. And it can also cause a disruption in elimination, make it constipated, or make it painful even for you to eliminate if your food is not being broken down. So when it gets to your gut, yes, the digestive juices, the gastric juices help to break that food down. But remember, I said digestion starts where? It starts in the mouth. And so it's very important for you to chew your food properly, so that when it gets down to your stomach is absorbing or removing the nutrients from the food so that your body can use it. And then the rest of the food is going to waste. What happens when we chunk down our food and we don't chew it properly, it can actually get stuck and lodge in your digestive tract. Okay. And we don't want to do that. Okay. So gas and bloating is often linked to poor digestion, gut imbalance, and that could be from chewing gum. That could be from other nutritional deficiencies in your body. It can be from deficiencies of enzymes. So certain enzymes break down different types of foods. So there are enzymes that are going to break down your proteins. There's enzymes that are going to break down your carbohydrates. And then there's enzymes that's going to deal with the vegetables and the fruits and the things of that nature. Okay. Eating more vegetables, which has enzymes in it, will also help with your digestion and make it easier for you to digest your food. Okay. The reason why we eat is not because of taste. Okay, not even because of energy. The purpose for us eating is to give our bodies vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that your body needs so that it can do all of the activities that you need to do in the course of a day. Okay, so especially in certain cultures, we become like food hungry, I'll call it, based on what your eyes are seeing. You're like, oh, I want that. Oh, I want that. Okay. But really, the purpose of us eating is to get the nutrients so that our body can absorb it, so that our body can work optimally, so we can do the things that we need to do, fulfill our jobs, and even your purpose and calling with God. So I'm always going to tie everything back to God. I'm always going to tie everything back into faith and the Bible. Okay. God has a purpose for your life. He has a plan for you. And you need to be able to have energy to fulfill that plan. You need to be able to have the right mind and not be in brain fog or confusion, so that whatever God has called you to do, you can fulfill that. And if you're not taking care of your body, and if you're not eating healthy, it's going to be harder for you to fulfill the plan of God for your life. Okay. That's just natural talk, right? Okay. So gas and bloating can be excessive gas too. So we don't want that, right? So we're going to choose our foods wisely. We're going to eat smaller portions, and we're going to make sure that we chew our food thoroughly. And we're going to check on the food combinations that we have. Pair your protein with vegetables. Pair your carbohydrates with vegetables. Like a good healthy dinner, depending on your blood type, would be, let's say, a baked potato or sweet potato with vegetables, okay? And have some fruit for dessert. Sometimes I make a fruit smoothie, but I'll make it like creamy, like ice cream, or like a sorbet. So I'll make that. My grandchildren love it too, but I like it because it's a healthy snack. So I'm using frozen fruits. I may use some coconut milk or almond milk, rice milk, maybe a little bit of agave if it needs to be sweetened. If the fruit is not really sweet, I may add a little bit of that, and put it in a NutriBullet or in a blender and blend that up. And you only add a little bit maybe of water as needed, just so that it can mix and stir, because you want a creamy consistency and a kind of milky consistency. You don't want it to be watery unless you like that, so you can do that. Okay. I don't advocate for milk. I don't eat dairy. Certain cultures do not do well with dairy. I am from one of those cultures, the main culture. But it is true that eating dairy can be broken down by ethnic group. And there are certain ethnic groups that do not digest well, period. Okay. Caucasians do pretty well with dairy, and Asians do well with dairy. Latinos, not so much. And African Americans, absolutely not, like zero. And if I were to show you the book and it says like how much dairy should you have, for those of African descent, is zero, literally zero. Okay. And so I know for me, I have a lactose intolerance. And so I don't drink milk, and pretty much always been from a child. And anyway, I won't get into that, but I didn't raise my children on milk either. Almond milk, soy milk, rice milk. Now they have cashew milk. Now they have oat milk. So there's lots of different choices that you have other than cow's milk. So anyway, and the reason why I say that is because cheese and eggs and milk can be very hard on your digestive system, especially if it's not quality. And so that can add to whatever digestive issues you might be having, or anything that you may have been diagnosed with. Okay. Okay. Indigestion. So that was number one, was gas and bloating. Number two is indigestion. There's a medical term for it, and it's called dyspepsia. Okay. Dyspepsia. And basically that's discomfort after eating. It could be a heaviness in your stomach. And sometimes with indigestion, you can even feel some nausea. Okay. Feel like you're nauseous a little bit after that. And so basically it means that your food is not digesting properly. So again, it could be the food combinations. It could be that you ate it too fast. It could be that you ate way too much, or it could be that you didn't chew it properly. So those are top four things to look for. And that's why we need to sit down, relax while we're eating, take our time. Notice when you begin to feel full, you stop there. You don't wait until you're full and overloaded and bloated. Okay. And watch our food combinations and make sure that we chew our food thoroughly. I have a daughter, and she used to always eat so fast, and I would look at her and I'd be like, slow down, slow down. She'd be like, she would be so excited. She's a real foodie, and she would be so excited to have her food, whatever it is that I make. And she's like, when you eat and it's really good, you start to do this little dance. You do this little dance under the table. You're like, oh, this is good. And you just start to dance a little. So that's how she was. And we could be talking, and it's like 3 minutes into eating, and she's finished. And it's like, what? I only had 3 bites, and she was finished. So as she got older and a teenager, she would be so annoyed. She would be like, every time when I would tell her to slow down. And I remember when I was taking care of my mom, who had early onset dementia, she would be eating so fast. So I would sit her next to me, and I would tell her to slow down, but she got to a point that she didn't understand well, and she couldn't talk. So I literally had to put my hand on her hand, because she would be like shoveling it in her mouth. And it's like, Mom, no. So I was concerned that she might choke on the food because she was eating it so fast. I was like, Mom, are you even chewing? Like, are you chewing the food? I didn't know what she was doing. So I would literally hold her hand down to the table so that she wasn't shoveling in her mouth, just so that she could take a breath between bites. Okay. So don't be like my mom. Make sure you slow down and you eat. You enjoy your food. I would tell my daughter, because she would finish so fast, I said, did you even taste it? Like, did you enjoy it? Because you ate it so fast. And she'd be like, yes, Mom. She's going to laugh that out. But notice I'm not telling you her name. I have 3 daughters, so you don't know which one. But when she hears this, she's going to laugh. Okay. So indigestion, which is discomfort after eating, heaviness in the stomach, it can be related to the 4 things that I described, in addition to low stomach acid. And so let me pause right here for a minute. There are certain blood types that have low stomach acid. Then there are other blood types that have high stomach acid. Okay. I really believe in eating right for your blood type. I delved into that study. I had known somewhat about it over the years, but just from a very minimal perspective. So dang, it's been 5 years now. In 2021, I really did a deep dive into this whole blood type eating thing. And I began to do that. So for myself, so since 2021, basically, I've been eating according to my blood type. So there's some foods that I've just eliminated altogether from my blood type. And here's what I know. Now that I've eliminated them, if I try to add them back, I can't. Like, it's very uncomfortable. And I'll give you an example. One of the foods I'm not supposed to eat according to my blood type is peanut butter. Well, I love peanut butter. I grew up eating peanut butter. I would get one of those big serving spoons, dip it in the peanut butter, and go outside and play and just, lick on it like a lollipop. Okay. I used to do that with pickles too. Don't judge me. But I would get the pickle out of the fridge, wrap it in a paper towel, go outside and play and be eating on this pickle. Probably go back for a second one. So anyway, I learned that pickles were not good for my blood type. And so I don't really eat them anymore. So I hadn't eaten peanut butter for about 4.5 years. So last year around the fall, I said, I haven't had peanut butter in a long time. I really have a taste for it. Like, I know I'm not supposed to eat that, but I'm just going to have one peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Oh my goodness. I regret that to this day. It really messed up my stomach. When I tell you indigestion, oh my, it was so uncomfortable. I had gas, I had bloating, and I had indigestion. I felt nauseous. I was like, Lord, please let me just throw it up and be done with this. But the gas, the bloating, and the indigestion, it lasted hours from one peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And I was like, I will never eat peanut butter again. Okay. So when you begin to learn how your body works, what foods are good for you or not, and you begin to eliminate foods from your body, when you add it back, it'll prove to you why you should not be eating it. And that's what happened to me that day. Big Bob said, I'd be in trouble if I eat a lot of peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Yeah, I only ate one, and it messed me up for hours. And I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that again. So it wasn't even worth it. Okay. So one of the reasons for indigestion can be low stomach acid, eating too fast, and stress. Okay. Now, it's not that much. Well, I won't say that. I was going to say it's not that much we can do about stress, but that's not true. We can. And so if you're in a stressful state, you shouldn't eat. But the problem is for some people, they're eating when they're stressed. They're emotional eaters. If they're feeling on a low, they'll eat. If they're feeling on a high, they eat. If they're mad, they eat. If they're sad, they'll eat. So it depends. Some people, they get mad, sad, upset, and they don't eat anything at all. It's almost like they're fasting. Okay. And then there are others that they actually turn to food, and it gives them some level of comfort. And there's some truth to that and types of food and stuff like that. So in any case, I'm going back to the blood type diet, right? So blood type A has low stomach acid. So that means they eat their food and not enough acid is in their stomach to digest the food properly. So off the bat, a blood type A person is going to have a tendency towards digestive issues. Okay. Now, an opposite of that would be an O blood type person. A blood type O person has high acid. Okay. That means immediately, the whole fire engine company in 5 neighborhoods is coming out to digest this food. So there's an overload of acid in the type O person. So here's a remedy, okay? For the blood type A person who has low stomach acid, coffee would be helpful because coffee is high acidic, but also coffee is a diuretic, and so it will help to aid in digestion, okay? Coffee is a diuretic, so it will help to aid in digestion in a sense that it's going to help you to eliminate, okay? Now, the blood type O person, if they're drinking coffee and even coffee with their meal, they may be rushed to go to the bathroom really quickly because they already have high acid. You're adding more high acid. You're actually adding more stress to the body and to the digestive system. Okay. And because it has this diuretic effect, it's going to kind of push you to move quickly. Okay. So if you're a blood type O person, you don't want to do that. You want to drink, if you like coffee, you want to drink a decaffeinated coffee, even your teas, and even some herbal teas have caffeine in it. So just be aware of what you're choosing and what you're eating. Okay. You always got to be an educated consumer. Okay. So the remedy is to slow down what you're eating and deal with the stress. How do we deal with the stress? We can do some deep breathing, sit back, relax, calm yourself. You can listen to some music. And of course, number one, you're going to pray. You're going to read the scriptures. You're going to apply the scriptures to your life and whatever it is that you're going through so that you don't feel overwhelmed or overcome with stress. Okay. Because stress is a silent killer because it can affect so many different parts and attributes of your body and all of your organs. But God did not call us to be stressed. He's telling us don't be in fear. Don't allow a spirit of fear. So fear brings stress, fear of rejection, fear of not fitting in, fear of what's going to happen next, fear of what's going on in our world, fear of what's going to happen when I get home, fear of what's going on with the children. Are they okay? Like there's so many different issues, and fear is the culprit behind it. But the Bible says, God says, I did not give you the spirit of fear, but power, love, and a sound mind. So we know and understand that the spirit of fear comes from the enemy. And so we want to cast him away. We want to submit to God. We want to resist the devil at all times. And the Bible says when you resist him, he will flee. So you can resist the spirit of fear. When you feel fear, you say, fear, I command you to go now. You can even say the scripture, God did not give me the spirit of fear, but power, love, and a sound mind. So fear, I command you to go. Fear, you do not belong to me. I command you to leave me now. And you can do this not just in relation to food, but in any area of your life that you notice that you're fearful. Okay, you can do that. So let's stand in our authority that Jesus Christ gave us and take authority over fear. Hallelujah. Praise God. Okay, so all right. So number 3 is the small intestines. I feel like I was supposed to say something and I forgot. Okay, it was. So I gave you the remedy for the blood type A person who has low stomach acid. Them drinking coffee will actually aid in digestion, but not for the blood type O. So for the blood type O person who has high acid, they want to increase fiber, increase fiber, increase water, so that it can help deal with the overgrowth, so to speak, of acid in the digestive system. Okay, so type O person needs more fiber and more water and enzymes for both of the digestive issues I've named already, and for all blood types. Having digestive enzymes are going to be very helpful. And so let me say that there are 4 blood types. There is the O blood type, which is the most prevalent. There's the A blood type, the B blood type, and then A and B, which obviously is a combination between A and B. Okay, so you have some of the things of A, some of the things of B. And so as I was studying this, what I found that was very profound and extremely interesting to me is the tendencies of food and health problems or health challenges based on the blood type. So certain blood types have a higher tendency towards cancer. Certain blood types fared better during the pandemic than others. Certain blood types are going to have more digestive issues. Like a type O person is going to generally have more digestive issues because they have an absorbent amount of stomach acid, more than necessary. So that's going to cause a problem. But then the type A person who doesn't have enough stomach acid, they can have digestive issues too, but they're going to be a little bit different. Okay, so number 3, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. So this is overgrowth of bacteria in your small intestine. And this can also cause bloating, gas, and discomfort. And when I start talking about the test, there's a test that you can do to find out if there's bacterial overgrowth. So we're going to talk about that in a minute. Okay, now IBS. IBS is for, Lord, where did the I go? Intestinal bowel syndrome. Basically, IBS, this person is going back and forth between constipation and diarrhea. And typically, especially if they have a bad case of it or if they've had it for a long time, this person is going to always have to have a change of clothes with them because they're going to be having accidents. And I knew someone like this a few years ago. Now imagine you're fully potty trained, right? And you're an adult and you have to be concerned about using the bathroom on yourself. And we're not talking number 1, we're talking number 2. So that's terrible. Kirsten says irritable. Yes, you can be very irritable when your digestive system is not working right. And typically because you're uncomfortable, it's so uncomfortable. So I want you to have this information so you're not uncomfortable, you're not irritable, or at least if you eat certain foods, you know what to do. You know how to get it out, and you know what enzymes that you can take to help to digest your food better. Okay. Okay. So, food intolerances and sensitivities. And the first one that it talks about is dairy. It's that lactose intolerance. And so, like I said, I grew my children up on soy milk, almond milk. My mom used to make macaroni and cheese with goat cheese. And it was a bit of an acquired taste at first, but it was really good. It was really delicious. It is a healthier cheese, and it is easier for you to digest than cheese that's made from cow's milk. Okay. So a gluten insensitivity can also add to digestive issues, but specifically irritable bowel syndrome. That's what you're saying, Kirsten. It just came to me. It just clicked in my mind. But I agree, like what I just said, irritable as far as irritability and like how you're feeling, like your emotions, but also this digestive disorder is called irritable bowel syndrome. Okay, so your bowels get irritated by what you're eating, and that could be gluten or that could be dairy. Okay, and so dairy also includes cottage cheese, yogurt. Of course, it's milk, cheese, but any type of cheese, cottage cheese, cream cheese, sour cream, and eggs. Some people forget that eggs is dairy. Okay, and so that's an issue too. So if you know you have digestive issues, stay away from dairy for a week or two and see how you feel, and then add it back in slowly and pay attention to your body and see how you feel. So by process of elimination, you can begin to remove some of the foods that's not good for you. And you'll know it's not good for you because you're going to feel uncomfortable. You're going to have some of these signs and symptoms that I'm talking about. Hey, Sean, welcome to the room. Sophie and Big Bob, you're doing a great job. I appreciate you so much. Okay, so IBS, some of the symptoms: bloating, fatigue, digestive discomfort, but it goes so much deeper than digestive discomfort. Like I said, it could be that you're actually eliminating on yourself and you can't help it. So it's not the kind of thing where you're like in the store and you're like, oh man, I got to go to the bathroom. Okay, let me hurry up and get to the bathroom, or let me find a bathroom. People that have this type of disorder, whether Crohn's or IBS, it's like an emergency. So by the time they feel like, oh, my stomach is uncomfortable, the next thing they may be going, and it's not something that they can control. So it's not a pretty thing. It's not an easy thing. The next one is leaky gut. And this is where there's increased permeability in the intestinal wall. So things are passing through that's not supposed to pass through. So it's a leaky gut, just like it sounds. Your gut has this lining, but if it's leaky, that means that it's not strong enough, that it's not, I'm looking for the right word. It's like a consistency, almost like a texture. And so when it's thinner or looser, the bacteria can slip through or food can slip through. That's basically what a leaky gut is. So it's supposed to like go through this tunnel, so to speak. But if the walls of the tunnel are too permeable, then the food can pass through or the bacteria can pass through. And that's not a good thing. Okay. That means that you have a compromised gut lining. Okay. And it can get unwanted particles in the bloodstream, which can cause a whole cascade of problems in the body, more than just digestive problems, but other issues. We're not supposed to have food particles and bacteria in our blood. And so your liver, your kidneys are going to be working overtime trying to cleanse those things from the blood. So your digestive health is very, very important. Okay. IBS, leaky gut, is also associated with inflammation and immune responses. Okay. Very important. Now, I talked a little bit about blood type O person have low stomach acid. So for some people, could be blood type A or other blood types. They can be diagnosed with low stomach acid, and it's called hypochlorhydria. Hypochlorhydria is the medical term, but basically it means low stomach acid. It's very common. It often gets overlooked. And so you're going to learn what to ask for later on when I get down to the test, so that you can ask the specific questions. Because here's the thing, the doctors are trained on specific issues, right? They have this book called a PDR, Physician's Desk Reference, that they can go to, and they're looking up all the signs and symptoms, and it's letting them know, well, what are the diseases that have these signs and symptoms. And so for many of the diseases, there's so much overlap. So poor digestive health, maybe it's Crohn's, maybe it's IBS, maybe it's just you had poor food choices, maybe it's just you're stressed and you didn't sleep well, maybe it's you ate too late at night and then you went to bed on that. So these lifestyle habits continuing over time can present themselves like some of these digestive disorders, but it's really not. It's just poor habits or poor lifestyle choices, okay? And so when they look in this book, it's very important the signs and symptoms that you're having. So what if you go to the doctor and you only tell them 3 symptoms, but you really have 5 symptoms and you always forget the other 2? You could be misdiagnosed because you didn't give them all the signs and symptoms that you have. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's very important for you to pay attention to your body and how you're feeling and how you react to stress and how you react to the foods that you're eating. The more information that you can provide your doctor in how you're feeling and your assessment of yourself and how you're feeling, the better they are equipped to give you the proper diagnosis, okay? If we were to look up the statistics for misdiagnosis, you would see that it is astronomical. Okay. So even before you allow your doctor to put you on a medication, you want to be very clear, crystal clear of what your issue is and make sure that you are not misdiagnosed. Because oftentimes people are over medicated or given the wrong medication because they were misdiagnosed. And this is why you have to be an educated consumer. You have to be educated on your own body, or at least be able to articulate to the doctor the signs and symptoms that you're having and how you're feeling. So if you're having dizziness and nausea and vomiting with any of these other symptoms, it's very important to tell them that. Hey, Slim, thanks for joining. And so I started saying last week, I think, get in the habit of looking in the bowl. So after you go to the bathroom, you want to turn back and look. You want to know, what does your urine look like? Do you notice that it has a thicker consistency? Is it more orange? Is it more yellow? Or is it more clear? Sometimes it can be more yellow because you just took your vitamins. And so the vitamins are being digested in the body. And over the course of the day, it should lighten up and not be that high yellow color. Okay. But if you're noticing that your urine tends to be dark all the time, or your urine has a very strong smell, or your urine has foam and suds around it, that's an indicator that there's something wrong. Okay. And you need to know this. This is why you need to look in the bowl. You don't need to be obsessed with it, but you need to periodically look in the bowl. Okay. If you're just beginning to learn your body, you want to look in the bowl daily. Okay. Maybe once a day. Once you begin to know your body and you know the food that you're eating, you can look in the bowl a couple of times a week. But just like how the Bible says that God doesn't want you ignorant of the enemy's devices, you don't want to be ignorant of what your body is eliminating. You want to pay attention to all of the signs and symptoms that your body is giving you, and understand that the signs and symptoms that your body is giving you is a call for help. It's saying, hey, this is what I got going on over here. You pay attention to me, pay attention right here. So your kidney is going to give you signs. Your liver is going to give you signs. Your digestion is going to give you signs. If you're noticing that you're going between constipation and diarrhea all week, that's an issue. And you're noticing this week after week after week, that's an issue. So I encourage you, pay attention to the foods that you're eating and take note of how your body responds to those foods. Because by process of elimination or just changing your diet overall, you can make your digestive health better. You don't have to have a diagnosis and go through extensive testing if you're paying attention to your body and you're making the necessary minor adjustments as you're going along. Okay. But always take note of it. And I encourage you to literally take notes, put it in your phone, make a little piece of paper, a sticky note or whatever in your bathroom mirror, someplace that you're going to see it and you're going to remember. Because what happens when you go to the doctor and they're like, okay, what's going on? How you been feeling? And all of a sudden it's like everything just leaves your mind and you forget the details. At least you may know, oh, doc, well, my stomach has been hurting me. I haven't been feeling comfortable. And they say, well, how long has this been going on? And you're like, oh, I don't know, a week or two. And it's been 3 months. Okay. Pay attention to your health. Write it down. Love yourself enough. Care about yourself enough that you are taking notes, not just mental notes, because we got a lot on our mind, a lot going on. We're likely to forget. So write it down. This way you can tell your doctor specifically, well, this started 2 weeks ago, but I noticed I've been feeling like this since 3 months ago. All of that information is going to be helpful for the doctor so that you're not misdiagnosed. Okay. Okay. So low stomach acid can cause bloating, I can't say it. It's like a tongue twister. Help me, Lord. Low stomach acid can cause poor protein digestion. Those two P's was messing me up. Poor protein digestion. And we know that we need protein for our body, for our muscles. So that's very important that we're able to process protein and digest it properly so that the nutrients from that can go to the body parts that need it, right? That makes sense. Okay. Low stomach acid can also be from nutrient deficiencies. Maybe the food that you're eating is junk and is completely devoid of nutrition, or you're not properly processing the food so that your body is able to extract the nutrients from it. Or maybe you're in this high stress mode, and so you're just consuming food and your body's just consuming it, and you're not getting any nutrients from the food that you're eating. It would be better for you to abstain from food when you're highly stressed than to eat a whole bunch of food and not digest it properly. Okay? Okay. So number 6 was low stomach acid. Number 7 is H. pylori infection. And that's a bacteria in the stomach. It can be linked to ulcers. It can be linked to chronic indigestion and inflammation. Somebody that has H. pylori infection might have chronic indigestion, belching, or gas from the other end. Just stomach disturbances. Okay. So again, pay attention to your body so that you know what's going on in your body and you can share that information with your doctor. Okay. Hemorrhoids. Hemorrhoids is basically swollen veins in the rectal area. Okay. Why would your veins be swollen? Sometimes hemorrhoids comes from straining when you go to the bathroom. So if someone is constipated all the time, but they feel the urge to move, but they can't, and they begin to bear down, it can cause strain in that area if you do that too often. Okay. So even as we started with the most simplest, but the most common, which was gas and bloating, but having that for an extended period of time can begin to lead into other issues. Okay. Very, very important. Slim said, dang, this might be my sign. Okay. Hopefully you'll get some information here that will help you to get rid of the signs and so that you can feel better. Okay. So constipation and straining, I said that with hemorrhoids. Number 9, gallbladder issues. Let me say this, because my first thought was there are many people that have their gallbladder removed. So by the time you're in a space that your gallbladder needs to be removed, means you've been having digestive issues for a long time that you have not been paying attention to. Gallbladder issues or an inflamed gallbladder or even gallstones, that doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen over a short period of time. It happens over a long period of time. Okay. So hopefully with these definitions, with this information, you're being educated, you can pay better attention to your health so that you don't progress into something more serious. Okay. We want to avoid that. So you want to pay attention to every sign and symptom that you have. Now, again, balance, right? Bible talks about let everything be done in moderation. So you want to have balance. You don't want to be obsessed or completely overwhelmed with everything going on in your body, but you want to be like, oh, I noticed this. Or when I looked in the stool, when I looked in the bowl, I saw this, and write it down. Pay attention, begin to chart it. And if you're seeing those things consistently, you're like, okay, and you drinking more water or getting better sleep is not helping, then you know you want to bring that to your doctor. Okay. Not everything is a problem, but it is a sign and it is a symptom that can indicate an impending problem. So we want to try to reach it. We want to try to pay attention to it before it actually becomes a problem, because it starts as something really small and minuscule first. But if it goes unattended, if it goes without care, without dietary or lifestyle changes, obviously that problem is going to get bigger and is going to progress, right? This is not rocket science. It's really, really simple. But sometimes even the simple things that we know, we just need to be reminded. You need to hear it again. Or maybe it needs to be broken down so that you can hear it in a different way. You're like, oh, I got it now. Okay. And then you can have better health. So gallbladder issues tend to come from poor bile flow, which can also come from constipation, which can also come from poor food combinations, which can also come from you not chewing your food properly. So you see how we went right back to the root of digestion, which starts in the mouth. So based on what you put in your mouth, when you put it in your mouth, what you're adding to it when you put it in your mouth, and whether you're chewing it enough or not, can in time, 5 years, 10 years, maybe 2 years, depending on what you're eating, or how bad your nutritional value or lifestyle is, you're going to be eating your way to gallbladder problems. Okay. So that's empowering, because if you eating your way to digestive problems is the case, then if you change what you're eating, can't that eliminate or get rid of the digestive problems? And the answer is yes. Okay. The answer is yes. Okay. So some of the signs and symptoms that you may or may not have gallbladder issues. And again, these signs and symptoms go with several of the digestive disorders. So this is not the be all end all, but it's pain after fatty meals. So you eat some fried food, or you eat a nice juicy steak, your potatoes, your broccoli, and you have a side salad. But afterwards, you notice that you have pain in your stomach. That could be an indication, but it could just mean you're constipated, or it could just mean that you have excess gas. So you see how some of these signs and symptoms can be so minuscule, but they can mean so many different things. And this is why you have to be an educated consumer and educated on your own body to pay attention to what's happening. You know your body. Your doctor does not know your body better than you. They know what to do in certain situations. They know how to give you the diagnosis based on your signs and symptoms, okay, based on the test results that you may have, but they don't know your body. And this is why you have to communicate effectively to your medical team. And I would say, in being an advocate for your health, you want to make sure that your various doctors are working together. So you have your primary care doctor. This is your general medical physician. So depending on what age you are, you may have a cardiologist and get your heart checked. Okay. Maybe you have cancer in your family, or you've had a cancer scare, or you have cancer. You may have an oncologist. You may have a gastroenterologist. If you have digestive issues, the doctor that you're going to see is a gastroenterologist. They specialize in the digestive disorders. Okay. If you have an autoimmune disease, if you are diagnosed with that, you may see a rheumatologist. They specialize in autoimmune diseases. Okay. Who else? If you're having issues with your feet, you're going to see a podiatrist. They specialize in the feet. If you're having nerve issues, or you've had nerve damage, or tingling in your extremities, in your toes and in your fingers, you may see a neurologist. Or you're having brain issues, okay? Even dementia or mild cognitive impairment. The doctor specialist that you're going to see is a neurologist. So whatever doctors you have, make sure that each one knows about the other, and you get them communicating together. They're not going to do it themselves because it's extra work. They're not going to do it themselves unless it's really a problem. So whether you are the one to take the information from your neurologist and bring it back to your primary care physician, or take the information from your primary care and bring it to the cardiologist, you want these doctors communicating. You want each one to know, because one of the things that's happened, and I do wellness coaching, so I've seen this with my clients, they end up over medicated because the cardiologist gives them a medicine, the general physician gives them a medicine, the rheumatologist gives them a medicine, the gastroenterologist gives them a medicine, and nobody's looking at the medicine that the other doctor gave. You have to do this. You have to pay attention to your health and be your own advocate and communicate with your doctors. Ask questions. If you don't understand something, make them explain it to you. Ask them to explain it to you, and let them keep explaining it to you until you can understand it and you know what to do. And you say, okay, doc, what do I do for this? Okay. It's very, really good to see a naturopath or a functional medicine doctor. And so I'm just under that. And I work with functional medicine doctors and naturopaths and things of that nature. So I can coach you into wellness and wholeness. And if there's something that I don't know, then I'm working with some of these other professionals to fill in the gaps with the information. Okay. But I've been in this for a long time and have helped many people, including myself. So I am fit to be able to coach you and help you and get you into wellness. Okay. So some of the signs for gallbladder issues are bloating, nausea, and pain after eating a fatty meal. But again, those are minimal types of signs and symptoms that can go for any type of health issue. So remember, gallbladder problems or gallstones, they don't happen overnight or in weeks or in months. They're happening in years. So that means years of you not eating well, years of you not getting the proper nutrition, years of you having deficiencies, years of you maybe not going to the doctor. So you didn't even know what was going on until you wake up in the middle of the night, God forbid, and you have this excruciating pain. And then you rush to the doctor and they're like, it's your gallbladder and we have to take it out. Okay. You don't want to get to that point. So start drinking your water, eating an apple a day, getting your fiber, taking your vitamins and getting minerals in, and making sure you slow down eating so that you can digest your food properly so you don't have these problems. Okay. Malabsorption is number 10. And this basically means that your body does not properly absorb nutrients. But there's a reason for that. And so I encourage you, when you have these different issues and the doctor says, oh, you have this, or oh, you have that, ask them why. Don't just accept the prognosis or the diagnosis. Ask him why. Or what is it in my test results? Or what is it that I'm lacking? What can I do naturally? What can I eat? And oftentimes they'll tell you, oh, it doesn't matter what you're eating. That's a lie. If they tell you that, no, that's a lie, because most, if not all, I'm going to say 99.9% of diseases can be rectified by your eating. Seriously. Even cancer is by your eating. And I was going to say, unless it's like body products and stuff, but what did I teach you already? And we have been talking about several weeks ago, is that your skin is your largest organ. And so what you put on your skin is the same as if you're eating it. So we're not going to eat the bottle of lotion, right? Or drink the bottle of lotion. No, we're not going to do that. We're not going to drink the shampoo and conditioner. But the fact that we're putting it on our body, on our skin, it is being absorbed into our skin, and it is having an effect on us, at least long term, that is just the same as if we ate it. And this is why your bath and body products are so important. And so let me say this. I'm not going to digress too far, but let me say this. If you are one that washes your hair, and especially men, but women too, if you are one that washes your hair yourself and you wash it in the shower, do not wash your hair like this and stand under the shower and let the water come down and then you have shampoo and conditioner all over your body. No, wash it like this, or do it over the kitchen sink, or wash it in a way that when you're rinsing it out, it's not dripping down your body. Now, is it going to fully get into your skin in the 5-10 seconds that it takes to rinse out? Maybe not, but over time, are you getting some in at low levels? Absolutely. Absolutely. And this is why I wear gloves when I go to the gas station. Gasoline molecules are pretty small and they're quick to absorb into your skin. And I don't know how many thousands of people that done touch the gas pump. So there's germs on it for that reason too. And it could be gasoline on that. And then you get in the car, you touch your face, or you're eating something and you lick your fingers. Like, just let's minimize the germs, please. Okay. Let's minimize the germs. Let's minimize the damage. Okay. Let's minimize the gasoline. Okay. Let's minimize the chemicals. Seriously. So cancer is typically caused by foods, whether it's sugar, foods that convert to sugar, because sugar feeds cancer cells. Okay. But there are many known toxins and carcinogens that are in our bath and body products. And if you want to know what those are, let me say 3 and 4 weeks ago, I taught about this. So you can find that on my channel. And I had 2 different titles because I talked about like healthy products in your home and things that you might have around the house that can help you. And then specifically about 3 weeks ago, I talked about bath and body products specifically and how what you're using on your body can be making you sick. So look for that video and you can educate yourself on that. And there were 6 main, if I remember correctly, there were 6 main chemicals that are in most of our body products and even in some of our food and even in our clothes. And I talked about how these chemicals are hormone disruptors. They're endocrine disruptors. And some of them are known to cause neurological problems or digestive problems. So Everything working together makes a difference. This is Wellness Wisdom Wednesday. I'm giving you the wisdom so that you can be well in every area of your life. We have to bring it all together. We have to make it all make sense, okay? Because it's not the one thing that's going to cause you to be sick or have cancer. It is the multiplicity. It is the multiple of things coming together, and the overconsumption of it or the overuse of it that's going to begin to become a problem at some point in time. So I'm educating you so that you can make better, healthy choices. And especially if it comes to how you're washing your hair, you can change that. You can wash your hair in the sink, in the bowl. You can wash your hair, forward so that the shampoo and conditioner is not dripping down your whole body. Okay. Also, you want to choose natural body products. I only use natural body products. Okay. On my body, my shampoo, conditioner, my hand soap, and my lotion, oil, whatever. It's only going to be natural. If it's got chemicals in it, I'm not using it. So be sure to go back and watch that video, because I'm going to break down each of the chemicals and tell you what they do and how they affect your body. Okay, so that was really helpful. How does that play into what I'm talking about? We're talking about absorption. And so your skin being your largest organ, you are absorbing the things that are on your skin. Okay. Similarly, the food that you're eating, there is supposed to be an absorption of nutrients. So if you have malabsorption, and mal means bad, that means that you have bad absorption. That means you're not absorbing the nutrients that you need from your food. Okay. So we want to change that. And malabsorption can lead to fatigue, and other deficiencies in the body, nutrient deficiencies, brain health deficiencies, okay, and weight issues, okay, gaining weight. And for some, it could be losing weight, depending on how your body works. If your body is getting toxins in and your body begins to purge that, then it may be hard for you to gain weight because your body is always purging. Most people are not like that, though. And so they typically would gain weight. Okay, Big Bob said homemade soap, homemade lye soap. I don't like lye, and I don't like lies. That's a play on words. So yeah, do your research on that. I use a Castile soap for my body. I use a natural soap. I use a natural deodorant. I use a natural body oil. So I'm not putting anything on my skin that's not good. Sometimes I don't always have the natural shampoo and conditioner. I use the most natural one that I can get here locally, unless I'm ordering it. But I also don't allow the shampoo and conditioner to run down my body. I'm putting my head in the shower water and rinse it off so that it's not running down my body. Okay. So there are many digestive issues that people deal with: bloating, gas, and those are the minimal ones. Diarrhea, constipation, depending on how bad you have it and how long you had it, it could be a disruption to your life. So maybe it's not minimal, maybe it's huge. IBS, acid reflux, food sensitivities, allergies. We can talk about that too. Oh my goodness. I have to do a separate live on allergies. I think I have one up there that I did a couple of years ago, because I used to do live streams back in 2018. So let's say around March 2018 till November of 2022. Every Wednesday I was live. So there's so much content that you can find available. Bob, would you mind pinning where they can find that information for the replays? Okay, so the symptoms that you're having are important. They're not random. They are your body's cry for help. The symptoms that you're having are the indicators that your body is trying to tell you, I need help. Something's wrong over here. You ever was that kid in school and the teacher asked a question, you're like, because you know the answer, you want to give the answer? That's kind of like your body is like, this is what's going, like, I'm trying to tell you there's a problem here. So don't ignore the signs and symptoms that your body is giving you, no matter how small and minimal it may seem, or how large it may seem. All of it is painting the picture of your health, of your overall health. Tonight, we're focusing on the digestive health, but your body is giving you signs and symptoms to let you know about your overall health. Okay. Okay. So, so now I want to categorize some of these issues. So, I'm categorizing it. I'm grouping it into three different areas, three different main groups. The first one is the breakdown problem. The second one is the absorption problem. And then the third one is the elimination problem. Okay, three problems: breakdown, absorption, and elimination. So let's talk about breakdown first. The breakdown problem is going to be issues in the stomach, typically having to do with acid, high acid or low acid, and indigestion. Indigestion can come if there's too much acid or if there's not enough acid. Indigestion can come from chewing gum, and there's hours or many minutes before you actually have food. Indigestion can come from drinking soda and carbonated beverages before you eat or while you're eating. And let me pause here for a second. It is very, very important not to drink whatever it is, even water, at the same time when you're eating. Have a little bit to drink beforehand if you're thirsty or your mouth feels dry. But once you start eating, you need to eat your food and then drink after. Your drink is not to wash down the food, because you're also washing away the enzymes that your body needs to digest the food. So do you see how that habit could cause more indigestion? Okay. So if you're feeling like you have to wash down your food, then that means you're not chewing it properly. That means you're eating too fast. That means you put too much in your mouth to even try to chew it properly or effectively. Okay. So this goes back to habits. And we have to develop better habits so that you can have better health. Okay. It's something that is so simple that is almost too simple that people don't do it or they don't pay attention to it. Digestion starts in the mouth. So it's important that you chew your food properly. Okay. Not chewing your food properly could mean you're swallowing whole bits of food. And then you want to drink in between each bite because you're not chewing properly. Slow down, taste your food, enjoy your food, and chew it properly so that it can digest properly. You're going to help your body. You're going to help your overall health. You're going to help your long-term health. Now, how many of you would say that this is so simple? Put a 1 in the comments. If you're like, this is so simple, put a 1 in the comments. If you're like, okay, this is a little bit challenging, I didn't know all this, I'm a fast eater, put a 2 in the comments. Okay, let me see what I'm working with here. Okay, because it's not rocket scientist and it's not hard. Okay, I see some ones. So it's really not hard. Slowing down, enjoying your food while you eat it, actually tasting it before you whip it down, chewing it thoroughly is going to mean that it's going to digest better. If you're digesting your food better, you're going to have better digestive health and you're going to have better overall health. Okay. Okay. So that's the breakdown problem. If you're of a blood type that has low stomach acid, then you're going to need to add some enzymes or more acid. And oh Lord, I just saw it and it escaped my mind. Is it hydrochloric acid? It's HCI. And people that have digestive issues, that's like a natural over the counter that you can take that can help to aid in digestion. I use essential oils to help, whether high acid, low acid, whatever. The essential oils help a lot. They're absorbed through the skin, so you don't have to swallow them. You can just put them on your stomach, and it helps with digestion. Some of them, you can put it on the tip of your tongue and swallow it, and immediately it can help. So a couple of years ago, I was at this conference. I met a couple ladies. We went out to lunch. We ate so good, guys. We ate so good. The food was delicious, but we ate too much. I ate too much, and we were all like full in fat after that. Okay, we had a good time. We enjoyed our food, but we ate too much. And we had to go back to the conference because that was just lunchtime. And it was like, ooh, we're going to be sitting there digesting our food. We're not going to be even able to fully pay attention to what's going on in the other half of the conference. And I was feeling uncomfortable. I was feeling bloated and I had indigestion. I was feeling full, like overly full, and I was the driver. Okay, so I was like, I know what to do. I'll take this oil, and so I have one specifically that's really good to aid in digestion, but I didn't have it in my bag. I was like, oh no, and I was like, okay, I'm going to use this other one. So this other one is mainly known for its like antibacterial, antimicrobial properties. It's known to help with building your immune system. But because it has cinnamon in it, and I know that cinnamon can help with digestion, I was like, I'm going to try this. I never took it before for that. I never took it on my tongue before. So I did it. And the other ladies, they were like, I need some help. I want to try it. And before we even got back to the conference, we were feeling better. And it was only like a 10, maybe 15-minute drive. So it wasn't a long time. It was like a 10, 15-minute drive from the restaurant back to the conference. And so we were good. So we were able to take notes, be involved, enjoy the rest of the conference. And our body was able to digest the food easier because we used this essential oil on our tongue. So anyway, that's my story. So absorption problems. This is going to be in the small intestines. This is going to be some type of deficiency going on in your body that's going to cause your small intestines not to absorb the nutrients properly. Okay. So can this be helped by food? Yes. Because if you're getting proper enzymes in, you may need to take digestive enzymes. That can help you to better break down your food, which will then, if you're breaking down your food better, that means you're going to get a higher absorption rate of the nutrients and the minerals that you need to have for digestion and just for overall health. Okay. Elimination problem. Number 3, right? Constipation, diarrhea, colon issues. I highly, highly recommend colon hydrotherapy. Or it's called an enema. Depending on what culture you're from, you may have grown up with your mom or your grandma doing enemas or giving you an enema. Let's say you're not feeling well. It's like, oh, grandma, I have a fever. Okay, let's do an enema. It was almost like an enema for everything, right? That or cod liver oil. I remember my aunt doing that to me. She's like, hold your nose. And she would pour it down. I didn't like her for that reason. I love her now, but I was not happy with that. I was like, I don't want to go to her house. She's going to give me cod liver oil. But she was trying to help me. But from the mind of a child, right? You're like, oh, that's gross. That's disgusting. I don't want to ever take it again. So anyway, elimination problems can be helped with digestive enzymes, getting proper nutrition, having a proper water intake. If your body is dehydrated, that means that your digestive system is dehydrated and it doesn't have the water nor the nutrients to process your food. So drinking water is a good habit. It's a good lifestyle choice for overall health, for your gut health and just your whole body health. Your body needs water. It is made up of what? 80% water. Your brain, you need water and you need good, healthy water. So try to get the toxins out of your water. Make sure you're not drinking from plastic containers because then you're getting plastic particles basically in your body, in your digestive system. So you can get a filter. You can get a whole like house water filtration system. That's what I highly recommend. But if you can't do that, then you can get a filter that you put on your kitchen sink or one of those pitchers that have a filter in it. You can do that. Another system like is an alkaline water system like Kangen. If you're interested in that, I can get that for you. And then I really like, I think they call it pure osmosis, something like that, or reverse osmosis. I've been doing some research on that, and that sounds pretty good too. But you don't want to be drinking plastic. So this is why I use a steel water bottle. Okay. And also because I can put my essential oils in here and it won't leach from the plastic. Okay. So it's safe for me to drink it that way. That's very helpful. Okay. So let's see. So just a recap, most digestive problems fall into three categories. It's either the breakdown of the food or lack thereof, and the absorption of the food or malabsorption, or it's elimination. Either you're not eliminating properly or you're overly eliminating. Okay. Either one is not good. Okay. We want happy mediums. Okay. So the body was designed to communicate with you. So this gas, this bloating, this indigestion, there are signs that your body is saying, hey, I need help. Something's wrong. Okay. So the symptoms that you're having, they're signals that something is going on in your body and you need to pay attention to the signals. Okay. Here are some of the, I'm going to go over some of the tests that the doctor may do if you have complaints about your digestive health. And I'm going to go some of the basic metabolic and nutrient markers so you know what to look for. Or when they ask for a specific test or they say they want you to take this test, you understand what they're looking for and why they want this test. Okay? These are common labs that can help to know what's going on. Glucose, and so that's going to determine how you're breaking down your sugars, if you're breaking them down well or not. How long does sugar stay in your body? This can help with sugar imbalances also. High levels of sugar in the bloodstream in the body will lead to metabolic stress. It can lead to pancreas problems and diabetes. Okay, so the hemoglobin A1C is connected with that, and it wants to look at long-term blood sugar control or lack thereof, but it can also be linked to gut and liver health. Okay. And in a moment, I'm going to tie in the functions of the liver and the functions of the kidneys and how all these three systems work together. Okay. Another test would be B12. This is an absorption marker. Low levels are going to suggest that there's digestive problems or absorption problems. Okay. So vitamin D, B12 can be a culprit. And then vitamin D. Vitamin D is really not a vitamin, it's a hormone. Excuse me. Vitamin D is for immune health, it's for gut health, it's for bone health, and it can even be for heart health. So vitamin D is very important. Certain ethnic groups and cultures tend to be lower in vitamin D than others. That is a real thing. Okay. Depending on what parts of the country that you live in, you could be more deficient of vitamin D. We can get vitamin D from the sun. So if you're in a part of the world that you're not getting that much sun, you're going to have lower levels of vitamin D. So you may need to supplement that, right? So you want to have your doctor check for vitamin D. So if you're having any issue with your bones, if you're having any issue with brain fog, fatigue, you want your vitamin D checked, because those are two symptoms that can say that there's digestive issues too, but they go to a lot of other issues as well. So sometimes you have to ask your doctor for these tests. They're focusing on the main things, on the big things. But what if you're having these digestive problems because your B12 and your D is low? Like, isn't that ridiculous? So you want to be an advocate of your own health. I'm going to keep on saying this. And so ask, well, doctor, what about my vitamin D? What about my vitamin B levels? Can we check that? And then they're going to be like, oh, well, yes, we can check that. And they're going to wonder, oh, how does he know that? Or how does she know that? You want to be an educated consumer. I'm telling you, you have a different conversation with your doctor when they know that you know about your body and you understand your own health. Trust me when I tell you. Okay, so vitamin B12, low levels can cause digestive and absorption problems. And then vitamin D, low levels can cause improper or, poor gut health. Okay, you're not eliminating properly. Okay. So vitamin D is going to be low if you have digestive issues. And it could also be that you're having issues with your bones. So again, there's a lot of crossover in this stuff. And so this is why it's important to ask. Ask for the test. It can't hurt. Your insurance is going to pay for it. But guess what? If it's an extra $25 and it's going to let you know way ahead of time that something is going on, get the test. Pay the $25. Okay. But typically your insurance should cover it, right? So here are some tests that are going to check for your liver health in addition to your gut health. So as it pertains to the liver, I went over this heavily last week, like really in depth. And the week before that, I did the kidneys. Okay. So the test is ALT and AST. I don't want to take too much time with this, but if you look at the video I did last week on the liver, I break this down for you. I give you the exact words. I give you the whole deep dive on the ALT and AST. So for now, just face value that this is one of the tests that can be done. And basically what it's doing is it's checking your liver enzymes. If your liver enzymes are high, it's going to say that there's stress on the liver. Stress on the liver is going to affect your digestion. So there's like a timeline in a sense, or like a track record. You're going to begin to see different signs and symptoms, and one is going to lead to or point to the other. Okay. The ALP test, alkaline phosphatase. This is really important because this is affected by your bile flow or lack thereof and the digestion. So depending on the results for this part of the test, the ALP, if your ALP is high, then that means that you may have gallbladder issues or liver issues. So remember I talked about, and for those of you new in the room, I often talk about your blood work, getting your blood work, beginning to understand your blood work and ask questions, okay? So you get your blood work and you can look it over and it'll break down the different things that are being tested in this particular blood work. And so basically there's a range of numbers. It may say low, medium, high, or it may actually give you the numbers. So just for example purposes, just hypothetical, let's say that the low is between, the low starts at 10, okay? Let's say the low starts at 10 and the high is at 50. So you have this range between 10 and 50, okay? Now, when you have this test, your doctor is looking it over, but they're not looking at it, thoroughly, or let's say with a fine-tooth comb. They're basically reviewing the test to see what are the outliers, what is high, like over 50, and what is low, under 10. Does that make sense? If the range that we're looking for is between 10 and 50, they're only looking for what's less than 10 or what's more than 50. Okay. So when they look over this test and it has the different categories, it's going to say either high or low, or it doesn't say anything. If it doesn't say anything on the outside, because they're looking for outliers, right? Those that are outside the normal range, if it doesn't say anything, they're not typically looking to see, well, where does Bob fit in the range of the ALP? Between 10 and 50. They're not looking to say, oh, he's at 45. Let's begin this. They're not doing that. But if you start looking at your blood work and you start asking questions, then they're going to have to pay closer attention. And you want to say, Doc, the test doesn't say it's high, but I'm looking at the normal range. It says the high is 50, but I'm at 45. So if you begin to make changes now, you can go down to more of the middle of the range and maybe be at 20. You don't want to keep doing what you're doing and you're at 45. You're at the high end of the range. You come back next year or you come back in 6 months and you're at 55. And now they're telling you, oh, this is high. We need to do X, Y, Z. Well, why didn't you tell me that when it was at 45, when it was almost high? Like I didn't have to get here. Do you understand what I'm saying? So this is why it's important to get this information, to learn to look at your own blood results and ask questions. So here's a hack that you can do. You ask your doctor for your, and you have the right to have this stuff. You have the right to have your doctor's notes. A lot of them are using MyChart and whatever other app thing is out there, and the doctors will put your notes in it. Some of the doctors will even message you through that and things like that. So you don't have to wait for like the phone call of results, or you don't have to wait to get the results in the mail and that type of stuff, or even wait for the results for the next visit. So you want to know what's going on in your body as soon as possible so that you have time to make changes before anything is really wrong. We're trying to avoid that, right? Okay. Is this helping you? Put a yes in the chat if this is helping. Okay. So what you do is you get your blood results from the doctor, and you take a picture of it and you put it in Claude, Chat GPT, whatever you use. Maybe you don't use any. That's a good time to start. And you say, um, give me the results of this test in layman's terms. Or you can say, pretend that you're a phlebotomist or you're the doctor reading these results and tell me what this means in layman's terms. Or tell me what this means as if you're talking to a fifth grader. Like, just give it the instructions that you want so that you can understand, and it'll read the test results. Okay. And based on all the information, same as if you were using Google, but it's going to pull information from everywhere and give you all of this different information. Whereas if you put it in ChatGPT or Claude, it's going to give you information specifically based on the information you gave it, which is your blood test results, right? So you put that in and you tell it to, act as if I'm a child or whatever, and give me this in layman's terms, and it's going to make it very simple. And then you take that information and you can call your doctor, message your doctor, go to the doctor and say, I have questions about this. And you'll be able to notice what the ranges are. So if you notice that you're at the lower end of the range, you want to ask doctor, I noticed this. What can I do so that I don't go too low? How do I get back to the mid range? Doctor, I noticed this, and it says I'm at the higher end of the range. It's not high, like I'm outside of the range, but it's close. So I want to know, what can I do to get this back in normal range? And you're going to require your doctor to give you more information, or to do research if they don't know, or to ask the next doctor so that they can put their heads together and figure out what is it your body needs. Your body may need something different than the next person. And it doesn't matter that you both have been diagnosed with IBS, your body doesn't react the same as the next person. So even these numbers, these ranges are based on like a subset of people. Now, if you have different ethnic groups, I'm sorry, but your body's going to react different. Okay, we all have red blood inside, but how your blood reacts to what you're eating is going to be affected by your blood type. It's also going to be affected by your culture, by your ethnic group. We eat different foods, and our bodies digest differently based on the climate and everything else from the country or the city or whatever that we're born in. It makes a difference. Okay, so doctors are beginning to talk about this more now. For example, I'm of African American descent, and most people from African descent have digestive issues with dairy. It's a known fact. And so I've watched some doctors, and even some go before Congress, and is like, why don't we teach this? Why don't we talk about this? Like, we know that this is an issue. This is information that the consumers need to know. Why? You may or may not stop drinking milk or eating your cottage cheese for breakfast or whatever, but at least you know that having it is going to add to digestive problems. So once you have the information, you can make an educated decision. But if they're hiding the information from you and you don't know that it's a problem, you're eating to your detriment. Does that make sense? And so if we have the opportunity to change what we're eating and fix our health, I would say 90% of us would do that. There's always going to be the outliers, those that are not like, well, I don't care what you tell me, you got to die from something. Well, you don't have to die because of the food that you eat. But some people are going to. Same thing like smoking. I've never smoked. I'm not ever going to smoke. But for some people, they've been doing it their whole life. And one of their responses, well, you got to die from something. Yeah, but you don't have to get lung cancer and put your family through all of this, issues and trouble. But it's their lifestyle choice. So know that your lifestyle choices don't affect only you. They affect the people around you, the people that you love. Okay. I raise my children in telling them that so that they can make good, healthy choices for their life, just in general. And I remember them being kind of small and saying, remember, the choices that you make don't affect only you. They're going to affect your siblings. They're going to affect your family, your parents, your grandparents, everyone in your family. So it's important. So to say like, well, I'm going to smoke because that's what my father did and that's what I like to do and it's my habit, like it's my business. It's not just your business, because God forbid you get lung cancer. Now the whole family has to rally around you and help you when you could have just stopped smoking 10 years ago. You see what I'm saying? So it's kind of selfish to say, well, this is what I want to do. This is how I want to live, because you living that way doesn't just affect you, it affects the people around you. Okay. Okay. So back to the ALP. This is one of the tests that they can test for. And I talked about this last week, I believe, with the liver. Okay. So the ALP is going to talk about or show what the bile flow is. So the elimination, the toxins that need to come out. That's the bile. It's the waste products of your body. Is it good? Is it not? And how is it affecting your digestion? Okay. Depending on what the ALP is, it can indicate that you're beginning to have problems with your gallbladder. So you don't want to wait till you have gallstones. You don't want to wait until your gallbladder is so toxic that they're like, oh, we have to take it out. You need your gallbladder. But if it gets to a point that it's not working efficiently or properly at all, that's when they have to remove it, because the likelihood of it getting healed and going back to normal is slim to none. Okay. But here's the thing. Your gallbladder has a function. And when the gallbladder is removed and it can no longer do its function, all the other parts of the digestive system have to work harder, because gallbladder is not there to do his job. Okay. So you see how things work together. Okay. In the ALP test, it's going to let you know about the bilirubin. It's going to let you know about how waste is being processed through your body or not being processed. Okay. Elevated ALP is going to say that your body is toxic, basically, and you're going to have digestive issues. So by then, if your ALP is high, you're experiencing the signs and symptoms of this. Okay. So I want you to know when you're above the mid range, so that you don't have to get to a point where it's high, so that you don't have to get to a point where your gallbladder is on its way out. Okay. This is why you need to look at your blood test and see the range and know where you are in the range. Because again, when your doctor looks at your blood results, so here's the range over here, and then there's like a column in the middle, and it'll say high or low or nothing. So unless they see high or low, they're not scrutinizing everything. They're looking for the highs and lows, and then it's on to the next person. They're going to diagnose you, say, this is what you can take for this, and then they're on to the next person. You say, wait a minute, doc, wait a minute. I want to know what I can do naturally. I want to know what I should be eating, what I shouldn't be eating. And if they tell you, I don't know, I'm not sure, let them write your prescription or refer you to a nutritionist or to a dietitian. Like, use your insurance to the fullest extent that you can before you take out-of-pocket expenses. But let me say this. If you have a type of insurance and they're not going to cover any wellness type of services or any natural type of services, be willing to spend the money. Be willing to come out of your pocket, because it's important to get some type of nutritionist or wellness coach, holistic health coach, which I'm both, or functional medicine or something, even if you have to pay out of pocket, because they're going to keep you alive. They're going to help to keep you healthy, so that you don't get to the point where you have these highs and lows in different areas of your body. Okay. So use your insurance to the fullest extent that it can be used. But even if your insurance is not going to pay for it, go the extra mile, because this is your health we're talking about. This is your life we're talking about. If you don't have good health, eventually you're not going to have any life left. And again, who wants to live life in the hospital or rehab or whatever? Who wants to live life and not be able to enjoy it, not be able to go walking, talking, and enjoy your children or your grandchildren or your great-grandchildren? Okay. My great-grandparents lived into their mid-90s. My grandparents did not. So clearly my grandparents, this is on my maternal side, on my mom's side, I knew my grandmom, I grew up with my grandma and grandpa, and I knew my great-grandparents. So my great-grandparents lived in Cayman Islands. So clearly they were eating island food. They were eating healthy. They were eating fish. They were, plenty of vegetation, fruit, lots of fruits. They had a fruit tree in the back. So they were eating healthy. They lived into their mid-90s. Okay. My grandparents, my mom's parents, died in their mid-50s. You're talking about a 40-year gap. That's insane. My grandfather died of a heart attack. Maybe 10 to 12 years before that heart attack that killed him, he had some heart issues. He had a triple heart bypass. After the triple heart bypass, saved his life, thank God. It gave him 10 more years of life. But he didn't fully change his diet. He wasn't eating properly. Okay. And so 10 to 12 years later, he passed away of a massive heart attack. Okay. So you have to change your health. And again, this was in his 50s. He was in his late 50s. Okay. So what you're eating, the lifestyle choices you make, exercising, not exercising, drinking your water, not drinking your water, is going to determine your lifespan. So my point for sharing that and showing you this is there's a clear gap between how my grandparents lived and what they ate compared to what their parents ate and lived into their 90s. A 40-year gap. Okay? So it does matter what food you eat. It does matter how you live. It does matter that you minimize, if not eliminate, the toxins that you have in your body. Okay? Okay. The next marker is looking for inflammation in the body. And one is called CRP, and that's a C-reactive protein. It's going to check for general inflammation in your body, and it's also linked to gut irritation. Okay, if the lining or anything like that is inflamed, you're going to have issues in your gut. So if you have high inflammation, it could be a host of issues. Okay, it could be rheumatoid arthritis, it could be lupus, it could be Crohn's, it could be a lot of different things. So inflammation by itself is not a clear indicator. But if they see high inflammation, that's when they begin to dig deeper. So this CRP is to let you know, or let the doctor know that, okay, this person has inflammation going on in their body. Now let's go deeper and let's see which organ or where it's coming from. Okay. ESR, this is your sediation rate. Okay, this is another inflammatory indicator, and basically is letting you know that there's organs in your body that are not processing properly, so that your sediation rate is high. It's not supposed to be high. Okay, now here is a couple of really gut specific tests. So if you took some of these tests, the ALP, the ALT, the AST, the CRP, and the results don't come back good, then they may do more specific tests. So here's some of the specific gut tests that they can do to determine if you have digestive issues and what specific digestive issues that you have. And so one is a stool test. And they'll actually have you bring a kit home, and when you go to the bathroom, before it drops in the water, they're going to say, let it go in this bag or this cup or this dish or whatever, and they're actually testing your poop. Okay, they give you that test at home. Okay, and the stool test is very comprehensive. It's going to give a lot of information. So remember what I said, look in the bowl at least once a week. Okay, look in the bowl and know if your stool is changing. Okay. Anytime, let me say this, anytime you see blood in the bowl, whether it's from number one, you're from your urine, or from your stool, from number two, you want to report that. Don't wait, report it immediately. Because the sooner you find out these things and you're able to report it, is the sooner your healthcare can start to try to fix the issue. You don't want to wait too long, and then it's a big issue where it could have been a non-issue if you dealt with it immediately. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay, so this stool test is looking for bacterial imbalance. It's looking for bacterial imbalance. It's looking for parasites. Most of us have them. It's looking for digestion markers, and it's also looking for inflammation. So this stool test is pretty comprehensive, and it can give them a lot of information. Based on the results of that stool test, they may dig deeper. Now, here's the thing. Based on the signs and symptoms that you tell your doctor, it's going to give them an indication of the various types of tests that they should have you take, so that you're not running back and forth to the doctor. Like, if I got digestive issues going on, I want to tell them everything. Give me all the tests that you need to give me to check my digestive health. Don't let me go and do a stool sample and then I have to come back and do some other tests. Like, let's do it as much one and done as we can. Okay. So you're not back and forth. So another test is called H. pylori test. And this is a specific type of bacteria. Now, in the doctor's office, they can do a breath test. It's what does it look like? It's not really a bag. Some can use a bag, and it depends on the age of the patient. But it's like a, like a medicine bottle. But it's a slimmer. It's like in a cylinder. It kind of looks like a medicine bottle, and you breathe into it, and then somehow they're able to test it, or there's like some kind of indicator on the side of it. And so this is a breath test. And so this can give them like a beginner immediate lab results or diagnosis if you have H. pylori or not. But if you don't breathe into it properly, like if the test is not done properly, obviously it's not going to give you good results. So depending on the age of the patient, either too old or too young, I don't want to say too old, but a much older patient or much younger patient, it's going to be harder to get the proper breath test in order to have good results. So checking for H. pylori, it could be a breath test, and it's looking for bacterial overgrowth in your small intestines. Okay. If the patient is not able to do the breath test properly, there are other ways to find out the H. pylori. Okay. But it won't be by mouth. Okay. Here are some other markers regarding testing for digestive issues. Your iron levels, ferritin. That's an absorption indicator. Okay. So high or low is letting the doctor know whether you're absorbing food properly or not. Magnesium. Magnesium supports elimination. It also supports sleep and stress and neurological and everything. And so there are different types of magnesium. So actually, I just started one that I got off the orange cart. That's like a magnesium complex, because the one that I was taking, which is not bad, is magnesium glycinate, I think. And that one helps with elimination, but also, what was the other thing? Stress, elimination, stress, and like sleep. So I was like, okay, this is good, right? But then I realized that there are other magnesiums that are helpful for other things. Okay. And so it's good to have a combination, because depending on where you are in life, you need all of that. You need all the help you could get, right? Okay. So magnesium supports elimination. Then there's lipase and amylase. These are digestive enzymes, and they are pancreatic enzymes. Papaya is really good. Papaya has a lot of natural enzymes. Eating papaya once a week, depending on what your digestive issues are, but like minimally, once a week, a couple times a month would be good. Okay. Lipase and amylase, you're not going to get in your food properly. And so this is where you would take a natural supplement for that. Because they will help you to digest your food. Okay. They can also help you to have good weight management, whether you need to gain or lose. And so let me say this: the person that's skinny, that's slim, or that's just straight, and they're like the same size since they were in high school, just because they're slim does not mean they're healthy. I know someone that's really, really slim and tall, and she has terrible digestive issues, and she has Crohn's, and she's had it for many years. So just because she's slim doesn't mean that she's healthy. Okay. So that is not a good indicator. And the same thing as a person who is overweight or obese. Now, typically, if you're obese, you're going to have some type of health challenges or problems. An obese person is not healthy, because all that fat on their body and around their organs will begin to cause problems over time. Okay. Okay. So taking these enzymes is going to help to break down your food. Typically, it's recommended that you take the enzyme like 30 minutes before you eat. So that means the enzyme is digested in your body, in your gut, and that enzyme is ready to help break down the food when it comes. Okay. They have these papaya enzymes that they're almost like little candies. So how much is going to help you digestively is somewhat minimal, but in this case, I would say something is better than nothing. Okay. So if you're going out to eat and you're going to, have some fried chicken and collard greens and some mashed potatoes, you're going to want to take your enzymes as soon as you get to the restaurant or even before you leave. So the papaya enzymes can help make sure that you get a good quality, because otherwise it's got a lot of sugar and it's got a lot of dye, and neither one of those is good for your digestive health. So that's totally counterproductive, right? Okay, so your labs give you clues, or give your doctor clues about how well your body is digesting, absorbing, and eliminating or not. And it'll let you know if the symptoms are mild or more severe. Okay, that is the purpose of what the tests are supposed to do. Okay, now here are some questions to ask your doctor. Are my results optimal or just within range? Are my results from my test, are they optimal? Are they good? Or are they just within range? Remember I said with that marker as an example between 10 and 50, am I at 49? Am I at 50? And you're like, oh, it's within range. Yeah, but I don't want to get to 55 or 60. So if I'm at 50, what can I do to bring it down a little bit so I don't go outside of what's considered normal range? Okay, so that's a good question to ask your doctor. Are my results optimal or just within normal range? Okay, now the next question, number 2, are there any signs of inflammation? And you want to ask this question, why? Because a person would typically assume if there's inflammation, a doctor would tell you. But that's not necessarily true, because if it's within normal range, they don't see it as an issue. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that doctors don't want what's best for you or they're not concerned about your health. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that they're trained in such a way that they're looking for outliers. So those people that fall in the middle range can get ignored, okay? Can get left behind, so to speak. So ask them, are there any signs of inflammation? Because if there are, there's lots of natural things that you can do so inflammation doesn't get out of control. You don't want to find out there's a problem when it's a problem. You want to find out when it's about to be a problem. Does that make sense? You want to be proactive with your health in your body, not reactive, okay? Here's a third question. Now, this is just 3 basic questions. How is my liver function affecting my digestion? How is my liver function affecting my digestion? You want them basically to explain those biomarkers that are pointing to the liver to you so that you can know how your liver is functioning. Because if it's sluggish, you need to know that before it becomes a problem. You want to know before it becomes fatty liver. You want to know before, God forbid, it becomes cirrhosis of the liver. Okay? You want to be proactive, not reactive, and tell your doctor that. And here's the thing. If you have a doctor that is not going to fully listen to you and answer your questions, get a new doctor. That is not the doctor for you. If they cannot take the time to break things down in a way that you can understand, find a doctor who will. Because this is important. This is your health. This is your life. This is life or death. Okay? Okay. Now, here are 3 questions that are more specific to digestive issues. Okay. Number 1, could my symptoms be related to gut imbalance? Can my symptoms be related to gut imbalance? Okay. Number 2, should I be tested for H. pylori or SIBO? SIBO is the breathalyzer test. Should I be tested for H. pylori or the breath test? Okay. And see, because sometimes doctors are overloaded and they see so many patients and clients that certain things may not be top of mind and others are very top of mind. But you're a very specific individual and you want the proper care that you need, because you're not like the last patient and you're not like the next patient. You're you, and you deserve that individual type of attention. So you draw that to yourself by asking the right questions. Okay. This is part of you being educated and empowered with the information that you need to make better choices and to have better health and to hold your doctors accountable. Okay. So here's the third question. Am I properly absorbing nutrients? Am I properly absorbing nutrients? Ask the doctor, am I properly absorbing nutrients? Okay. Okay, great. So, Big Bob and Sophie, something is going on with my live. It's not restricted, but it's not being pushed out for whatever reason. So I don't know what that's about. So it seems like engagement and people coming in and out is really, really low, much lower than what my lives typically are. So I'm gonna have to try to get to the root of that, after that. But anyway, I just wanted to say that to you. Okay. So here are 2 questions that have to do more with functional, okay? Overall kind of functional. 1, could low stomach acid be contributing to my symptoms? Now, let me backtrack because a little while ago I was talking about specific blood types, right? If you don't know your blood type, that's where you start. You need to know your blood type. And what I found in my studies, in my personal experience with doctors, and even with my clients' experience with doctors, they don't know, they haven't been taught about the effects of different types of blood types. Like, they're not looking at, oh, if you have this blood type or that blood type, it's going to affect your blood work or whatever medications you're on. Some blood types can't even take Tylenol. Like, I have a friend, and she can take a Tylenol, like for pain, and then she wants to go to sleep. I could take a Tylenol and I could keep going. I could take a high range Tylenol and keep going. It doesn't affect me like that. Okay. Here's another example. I had some lavender lip balm, and we know that lavender is relaxing and calming, right? So I have this lavender lip balm. It's pure lavender. It smells amazing. It's not adulterated, so no chemicals in it. And I can take it, and my lips are, moisturized, and I smell the lavender and it's good, but it doesn't make me sleepy. So she is of a different blood type, and she put on the lavender lip balm. And why? She almost fell asleep. So she was using the lavender lip balm for a few days, and she was noticing she was so tired and sleepy. So her blood type has a faster, quicker response to different factors, whether it's Tylenol or lavender. Her body is like, okay, shut down, sleepy time. Okay, we don't want that. So again, it depends on your blood type. So that may not be information that your doctor knows or is aware of. And this is where, again, functional medicine, because functional medicine is combining allopathic medicine or Western medicine with basically Eastern medicine or natural medicine, okay? It's going to look at the body as more of a whole than just its separated parts, because we are not separated parts. We have different functions in our body, but they're supposed to be all working together for a common goal, which is for your life and for your health, okay? Okay. So we know that blood type A has low stomach acid. So you can answer this question yourself if you know your blood type. We know that blood type O has high stomach acid. Okay, so the question was, could low stomach acid be contributing to my symptoms? Or you could say, could high stomach acid be contributing to my symptoms? And in either case, the answer is yes, but ask your doctor anyway. Okay, second functional question. Is my digestion affecting my energy levels? I almost feel like this is a dumb question, because obviously it is. Because one of the main signs and symptoms that we read in almost everything was fatigue. So if you're fatigued, don't let them just tell you that you have chronic fatigue syndrome. No, do these tests, find out what my biomarkers are. Let's go over them together, and let's deduce what you see on this test from what possibly could be going on with my body. Do not just take a blanket diagnosis. You want to know why. You want the doctor to prove to you or disprove to you why you have certain biomarkers in your lab work. Ask the questions. Ask the questions. Okay. So, you may ask, would a comprehensive stool test be helpful to figure out what's going on with me? So you can suggest the stool test, okay, if they haven't already. Or there are markers that suggest malabsorption. because you can change what you're eating and that can improve your absorption. You can start adding magnesium, or you can start adding enzymes, and that can improve your absorption. So don't just take a diagnosis that you have malabsorption. There are natural things that you can do, quick, easy, that you can do to change that. And basically changing your eating, changing maybe the times of day that you eat, adding more water, adding more fiber, like such simple things that you can do that can literally turn your health around, so you don't have to wait to get some horrible diagnosis. Okay. You want to find out if there's a pending problem, not just that, okay, you have a problem or this is serious and this is what we need to do. You want to pay attention so that as it's leading up to a problem, you can know about it and you can make the changes. Okay. Okay. So don't accept that everything looks normal. Ask, is it optimal? Don't accept normal. Because remember, I gave you the range between 10 and 50. Normal is 49. Normal is 50. As long as you're between 10 and 50, 10 could be normal. They're not going to think it's a problem until you're 9. So you be an advocate for your own health and ask them, not just does everything look normal, but does it look optimal? Because if the range is 10 to 50 and you're at 45, then no, it's not optimal. Or you're at 49, no, it's not optimal. Or you're at 11, no, that's not optimal. Because you should be between 10 and 50. But if you're close to 10, why is it so low? Okay, that's a great example. Okay. Okay. We have to honor the way that God designed our body. God designed our body to heal itself with the proper nutrition and sleep and lifestyle choices, exercise and water and food and vitamins and stuff like that. And the only reason why we have to supplement more now today, in this day and age, than ever before, is because a lot of our food is devoid of proper nutrients. And some of our food is not even food. Some of our food is bioengineered. Some of our food is GMO. Some of our food is like meat glued together. It's ridiculous. Okay. So some stuff you're eating, like you don't even know what you're really eating. Okay. Definitely need to be growing your own if you can. Okay. And that's a conversation we can have on a sidebar, because I do have like a tower garden where you can grow your own microgreens and fruits and vegetables or plants in your home, or herbs too, right? Okay. So God designed your body to heal itself, and God designed your body to give you symptoms, like signals, so that you know when something's going wrong, so you can try to circumvent it before it goes wrong or before it becomes a bad problem. The wisdom is learning these signs and symptoms so that you know what to do, so you're not waiting for this bad doctor's report or bad test result or these terrible signs and symptoms that you're having. You want to catch it before it gets bad. Okay. And you want to understand what's going on in your body. Okay. Okay. So it's your digestive system, your liver, your kidneys for inflammation. They're not separate, although they have different functions. They're working together as a whole. Okay. Okay. So this whole system, I'm talking about that for a minute, with digestion, is what goes into your body, right? What you're taking in. Now, digestion is two forms in a sense: what you're eating through your mouth and what you're digesting through your skin. Because remember, what you put on your skin as your largest organ is the same as if you're eating it, because it's getting into your bloodstream. Okay. So digestion by mouth or digestion by skin, both are important. Okay. Your food is going to be broken down in your mouth, because remember, digestion starts in the mouth, and that's when it starts with your saliva, and you having the saliva and the chewing, the actual act of chewing is going to, the actual act of chewing is going to start the enzymes to come out to digest your food. Okay. All right. Here's something important. You may not like it, but I'm going to tell you anyway. What you eat is only helpful if your body can process it properly. So if you're eating things that are not healthy, that are not good for you, you're not going to get any nutrients from that. And it's not going to help your body. Now, okay, we're not going to be rabbits, right? And just eat vegetation. So, yes, you're allowed to have a vice. You're allowed to eat unhealthy foods occasionally. Hey, Kara, you're allowed to pick and choose the food you want, but generally, you want to have a good, healthy diet so that you can have good digestive health. We're talking about digestive health tonight. So you want to choose your foods wisely. So sometimes I eat chips. I like chips. That would be my vice. And Lay's is my favorite. But I don't eat that every day. I don't even eat that every week. I like fried chicken, but I may have fried chicken once a month or once every couple of months. Because I know it's not good for me, I don't make it. I can. I know how. I used to. But I don't cook fried chicken. I'll bake it, broil it, put it in a crock pot, barbecue it, curry chicken, stewed chicken, or beef, or shrimps, or whatever. But I don't make fried chicken. I like to eat fried chicken, but it's in moderation. So if I go to my children's house, my son, my daughter, whatever, and they made fried chicken, I'm gonna eat that. I'm gonna bless it and eat it and enjoy it, right? Um, but it's not something that I eat often. Chips, I have to have a taste for it. It's not something that I eat often. Today, and because it was my birthday Monday and I'm still celebrating, there's this really great bakery nearby my gym. And I go work out in the morning. I'm doing like water fitness exercises and stuff. It was really great. And I was like, oh yeah, I want to go to this bakery. And so I don't go there often. I probably was there literally last year. So true. Last year around this time in March, actually, I was there. And okay. Dang. Thank you, Bob, for checking that out. I appreciate you. Okay. So I went to this bakery and I'm going to post about it. So you're going to see a picture on my story or, on my feed or whatever. And there's so many delicious desserts. Now there are Ethiopian owned bakery. They can cook their little heinies off. Delicious. Everything looks so delicious. And I've tasted a couple of things from there. So anyway, I haven't eaten there since last year, literally. So I went over there today and I went in there and I'm thinking I'm going to get carrot cake because I know that carrot cake is the bomb.com. Okay. So that was my thought. But then I saw other things I like. I like the Napoleon. I like red velvet. They had something else. And I was like, dang, you have too many choices. I said, you know what I need? I need a little sample plate, like a little bite size of all these different things so I can taste it. And so she was like, yeah. And so when I was checking out, what I did get was this. It's supposed to be white chocolate raspberry something. Never heard of this. Never seen it before. It looks absolutely delicious. And I tasted it after my dinner tonight, and it was so delicious. I was like, oh my goodness. So now I have a new favorite. But I have discipline. So I'm not going to be going there every week. And plus, it's expensive. So one little slice is like $6 and change or whatever. So anyway, point being, I have to be in the mood for sweets. So I'm giving myself some grace this week because it's my birthday week. Okay. But I'm not typically eating cakes and pies and all of this kind of stuff. Okay. I have to have a taste for it. So everything is okay as long as it's in moderation. All right. That's the takeaway point from that. That's what's very helpful. Okay. Okay. So real quick recap, your liver is part of your processing center. And once nutrients are absorbed from your food, hopefully you're eating food that has nutrients in them and not junk food, which is devoid of nutrients, right? And then they go directly to the liver. So those nutrients are going to the liver. Your liver processes the nutrients, it filters out the toxins, and it converts substances into usable or removable forms. So it's going to separate and it's going to say, okay, we can use this. Okay, this is waste. We don't need this. We're going to discard this. And then it'll be eliminated. Okay. The liver also produces the bile for digestion. So this is how the liver and kidneys work together. Okay. The liver, this is what you can remember, like a key point takeaway. The liver decides what stays, what gets used, and what needs to go. The liver decides what you're eating, what stays, what gets used, like the nutrients, and then what needs to go, what needs to be filtered out, what's waste. Okay, now the kidneys is part of your filtration system. So your liver is your processing system. Okay, the kidneys are your filtration system. And you can liken this to like the post office. Okay, the post office, the main one is the processing plant. And then the mail gets filtered like the kidneys, and it goes to different local post offices, and then they break it down further based on your street address, so that the mailman from this district and the mailman from this district, they're able to take the mail bag to their truck and then go deliver it to the area. Okay, I hope that analogy helps you. It just came to the top of my head. So the kidneys are part of your filtration system. So the kidneys filter the blood. It removes the waste. It balances fluids and minerals. So if you're not getting enough fluid, that's going to affect your kidney function. If you're not getting minerals, that's going to affect your kidney function as well. And then the kidney helps you to eliminate through the urine. And this is why, again, I say every now and then you got to look at the bowl. Okay. So the liver prepares it, and then the kidneys remove it. The liver prepares it, and the kidneys remove it. Okay. Waste leaves the body through your stool, which is through your large intestines, or through your urine, which is the organ responsible for that is your kidneys. Okay. If your digestion is weak, that means you're not going to be absorbing nutrients. That's a problem. That means that it's going to be increased toxicity in your blood. And by the way, if your gallbladder is not processing properly, and there are getting a lot of toxins in the gallbladder, this is why your body makes the stone. Your body will make gallstones if the toxicity level in your gallbladder is high. Same thing with the kidneys. If the toxicity level in your kidneys is high and you're not able to, for some other reason, eliminate properly from your kidneys, that's when your body will develop stones. The stones, similar to cysts and fibroids, like in a woman's womb, is your body's natural defense mechanism to prevent your body from being over intoxicated with toxins. So it's part of your digestive system, or part of your body's system, to eliminate toxins. How is it doing that? If it can't eliminate them, it's going to build a stone and it's going to absorb it into the stone. Or it's going to build a cyst like in your breast or in your stomach. And the cyst is absorbing the toxins. Or it's in the womb and it's going to make a fibroid. And the fibroid is absorbing the excess sugar. The fibroid is absorbing the excess toxin. Or the fibroid is absorbing the imbalance of the hormones. So these things that happen in your body, they're for a reason. So they are an indicator or a signal to you that there's a bigger problem going on. So I want to say, as long as the cyst is benign, it's not so much that you have the cyst, it's what's going on in your body that your brain said, grow this cyst on your uterus to protect you from excess toxins. There's something going on with your processing plant or your filtration system, which we now know is your liver and your kidneys, right? Okay, so your body is trying to give you signs and symptoms of what's going on. Okay, so you want to reduce the level of toxicity in your body. And that way you'll be less likely to get stones, whether it's kidneys or gallbladder, okay? When your liver gets overloaded, some of its functions, because it has over 500 functions, some of its functions, it's going to outsource to other parts of your body. Okay, if your liver is overtoxic, your liver's overwhelmed, it's going to be like, okay, I need help. Gallbladder, help me. Spleen, help me. Kidneys, help me. Large intestines, help me, because I'm overloaded. Okay, so again, this is where it's important to change your diet and to change your lifestyle. If you are walking, and I was teaching this to my seniors the other day, I think I went there Tuesday. Oh, yesterday. Today's Wednesday. Good Lord. Well, technically it's Thursday now. It's 12:15 a.m. Anyway, I was telling them minimally you want to walk some type of exercise for 20 minutes, 3 days a week. That is so minimal. But sometimes we get so busy in life and we don't even do the bare minimum. And I understand because I used to be there. I've done it too. But you know better, you do better, hopefully. So now I work out 3 days a week for 45 minutes to an hour. And that's just to start. And that's because of knee injury. So now that my knee is getting healed and I'm doing laser therapy and stuff like that, I can do more things. I met with a trainer, so he showed me some exercises that I can do so I don't hurt myself or I don't hurt my knee. Okay. So that was important. So now I'm getting ready to add on. So I do my water classes Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Now I'm going to start working out on Tuesday and Thursday. And just to give myself a break, I'm going to start working out at home and do the things that the trainer showed me. But eventually I want to go to the gym and I want to lift. I want to lift weights because I want to build strength. And when you're strengthening the muscles, by default, the fat has to go. It's going to diminish. You're going to be able to get rid of it. Okay. Okay. So that might be a little hack for you. If your kidneys are stressed, your waste is going to build up. That could be kidney stones. That could be a foul smell when you go to urinate. That could be foam or suds when you go to urinate. You shouldn't have any of that stuff. Okay. It could be a fluid imbalance. Okay. You're not getting enough water. Or it could be worse and your whole system is getting ready to shut down. At least your kidney system is about to shut down. We don't want that. And that's why you have to pay attention and you have to look in the bowl every now and then so that you can see what's going on. And I'll give my own example. I'll be telling my business on social media. So let me see, a couple of months ago, I looked in the bowl and I was like, what is that? Okay. Then I go, number one, urine, and I look and I said, it looks like there's suds in my urine. I said, that's odd. I'm thinking, well, what could I have eaten that it would be like sudsy? It never was sudsy before. So when I went to the doctor, I told the doctor, and they're like, oh, like it's nothing. And I said, wait a minute. My urine has never been sudsy before. So don't tell me that's natural. That's normal because I never had it before. So clearly something's going on in my body of why my urine is looking kind of sudsy. Not very sudsy because they were like foam. And I was like, no, it's not foam. It's just a little sudsy, like just a little bubbles or whatever. But I know I didn't have that before. So they wanted to act like it was nothing. So what did I do? I make sure that I drink plenty of water. I make sure that I get proper electrolytes. I'm making sure that I'm balancing my protein and I'm getting more fiber. And so it's just been a month, maybe two, and I don't see it anymore. So whatever was beginning to happen, I was able to course correct it because I was paying attention to my body's symptoms and I was looking in the bowl. So I'm telling you what I know. I'm telling you how I live. I'm not just reading information online and gathering it together to tell you. I'm telling you what I live and what I know, in addition to my research, in addition to my training. Okay. So take advantage of me and use this information to be able to help you and your loved ones. Okay. Maybe you'll overhear a conversation. You're like, oh, I learned about that online. And she said, blah, 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 blah. Or maybe this is a test that you should get. Okay. Okay. Hey, Gabby. All right. So all three systems worked. I keep doing that. All three systems work together for your body to function properly. We're talking about the liver, the kidneys, and the digestion. Next week, we're going to talk about the pancreas, and we're going to tie all four together. We're going to specifically talk about diabetes and the spiritual root of diabetes. Okay. Okay. So remember I said the liver is the processing plant and the kidney is the filtration plant. So let's add the digestive system into that. So the digestive system is the intake. It's the intake system. Okay, it's like the stamp that you send the mail out and then it goes to the processing plant and then it gets filtered to the different mailmen based on your zip code. Okay, so the digestive system is the intake system, intake. Okay, then the liver has to process it and then the kidneys have to filter it. Okay, keep in mind when you're taking certain medications, they're either, let me watch my words. They're either having a greater effect on the kidneys or the liver or both equally. Okay. And so it matters when you take medications that you are periodically doing cleanses, liver cleanse, kidney cleanse, digestive cleanse periodically so that you're not getting a buildup of toxins from the medications that you take. You've all seen the pharmaceutical commercials, and it's like you see this person running through the meadows, and it's like may cause dry mouth, indigestion, constipation, or death. Like, you're like, what? Leave me with the indigestion then. I'd rather have indigestion than death. Praise God. Okay. So pay attention to your body. And if you are on medication, doesn't matter what medication is, every single medication has to be filtered through your liver or your kidneys or both. Okay. So what does that mean? That means long-term use of this medication can cause damage or lead to damage of your kidneys or your liver. And this is why I'm saying periodically you need to do a cleanse. You can do a liver cleanse, you can do a kidney cleanse, you can do both, you can do a digestive cleanse. That's what I mentioned earlier about colon hydrotherapy. That is sending water into the colon through the rectum to wash out the sludge, to wash out old food, putrefied food, and things that you're not digesting properly. And it'll help your digestive system to work better. My mom used to be a colon hydrotherapist, so I learned a lot more about what's in the toilet than I ever would have wanted to, but it works for my good, and I'm able to help clients with that additional knowledge as a certified holistic health counselor. Okay, so your body was designed to work in order. Your body was designed to cooperate together, all of the different systems. Now you want to work in tandem with your body so that you're paying attention to the signs and symptoms that it's giving you. When one organ is overburdened, it's going to put more work on the other organs. Okay. And so if that other organ, like the gallbladder, is removed, then that means all of the other organs have to work even harder because now they need to take the load of what the gallbladder used to do or the kidneys used to do. We have two kidneys for a reason. So if one is removed, then that means that one kidney you have left is going to be working overtime all the time. And that's not a good thing. Hi, Monique. Thanks for joining. Okay. So digestion breaks down the food. The liver processes the nutrients and the toxins. And then the kidneys, I mixed up kidneys and filter. The kidneys filter out and eliminate waste. That's the function of it. Okay. So the only way you're going to truly fix your digestive system, if there's a digestive problem, is by healing the liver and the kidneys. So a good place to start, if you have any of these signs and symptoms that I've talked about tonight, is doing a kidney cleanse and a liver cleanse. And if that's something that you're interested or you want to do, I do have the products for that. I'm starting my TikTok shop because they've been reaching out to me about this. So I'll be starting that. I have to learn it or whatever and put my products in it. So hopefully by next week, Wednesday, my TikTok shop will be ready. Praise God. So your health is not about one organ. It's about your whole system working together. So I did this, succinctly. We did the kidneys, we did the liver. Now we're doing the digestive system. And then the next part of that is going to be the pancreas. Okay. What else? Okay, let me say this and I'll end somewhere here. Common signs and symptoms that people can notice at home. Your digestive systems, you're bloating after eating, you have gas or you have stomach discomfort, you have acid reflux or heartburn, you have indigestion or heaviness, constipation or diarrhea, or you're feeling overly full really quickly. And let me park here for a minute. The acid reflux and heartburn. It is paining me at the amount of people that are being digested with GERD. You never heard of GERD before, like 10 years ago or something like that. Or at least it wasn't as prevalent as it is now. If somebody is having an issue with digesting their food or is coming up, then there's a digestive problem that can be fixed. They don't need another diagnosis. There's like this whole category is so annoying to me. And the reason why it's annoying to me is because it's not fixing the problem. And then this person just has another diagnosis on their medical rap sheet, but they're not taught what they need to do to fix it. You're not going to take some pink liquid or white liquid or this purple pill or whatever it is to fix the GERD. You have GERD because there's something going on in your digestive system. The problem needs to be addressed. You don't want to be popping antacids like candy. You want to get to the root of the problem. The root of the problem is you're not just digesting your food properly. The root of that is you're probably not eating the right foods. You're not getting enough nutrients and minerals and vitamins and things like that. So the real problem is what you're putting in your mouth. You can change that. So basically, you created that problem, digestive problem, GERD problem, acid reflux problem. You created that problem in your body based on your food choices. You created that problem based on your lifestyle habits. But here's the empowerment. You created the problem. You can fix the problem in the same way by choosing better, healthy foods. Okay? So you don't have to be stuck with the problem. Just reverse the things that you did to get there. Okay? All right. How do you know if it's energy and brain systems? Fatigue, especially after meals, like immediately after. Brain fog, poor concentration, okay? Difficulty remembering things could be part of it. And just overall sluggishness, okay? You're feeling slow and drained, okay? That's going to be affected by poor digestion, toxic buildup, and blood sugar imbalance. But again, what you're eating is going to determine that. So you get to change that. Appetite and cravings. This is something else that you can look at. These are signs and symptoms that you can notice and see in yourself, and then you share that information with your doctor. Do you have strong sugar cravings? Likely you have parasites. If you have strong sugar cravings, you have parasites. And so you can do a digestive cleanse or a parasitic cleanse and kill those parasites and get them out of your system. If you're hungry all the time, frequent hunger, and you know you had lunch, but an hour later you're hungry again, then that's an issue. And likely there's parasites because they're calling for more food. They're going to give you cravings for the things that feed them. So one of the ways to kill them is to starve them of the things that they want. So that would be abstaining from food. But I understand, and it can be hard when you have these cravings to resist, or you can resist for a time, but not indefinitely, right? So that means you need to do a cleanse and you need to get rid of the parasites. Okay. If you have no appetite, that can be an indicator. Why do you have no appetite? The body needs food. Why do you have no appetite? So specifically, when I was dealing with the kidneys 2 weeks ago, that is a sign and a symptom, depending on how bad it is. And other signs and symptoms, it could be kidney damage or leading into kidney failure. So having no appetite, especially for a prolonged period of time, is not a symptom to ignore. So your doctor would need to take that symptom and look at some of the other symptoms that you have and do some of these tests to figure out what's going on with you. If you're eating and you ate a full meal, or what would be considered a full meal, but you don't feel satisfied, that's an indication that something else is going on with your digestion, or you could have parasites. Okay. Now, here are some skin and here are some skin and external signs that you can see. Itchy skin, like really itchy. Or you're getting ready to go to bed at night and you're just itchy, itchy, itchy. Or your back is itchy, like often. Itchy skin, wherever it is. A very dull complexion, or a yellowing of the skin. If you look in the mirror, or maybe someone in your family, you're like, they look a little shade of yellow today. That's an issue, okay? And that would point to problems with the liver, or the bilirubin in the liver, okay? So if the skin is itchy, if there's acne or breakouts, and you didn't have that before, but you're constantly having breakouts, when your body can't handle all the toxins in the organs, it'll push it out through your skin. Because remember, your skin is an organ too. So if your liver's overwhelmed, or your kidneys are overwhelmed, it'll begin to push the toxins out through your skin, because it's got to come out of your body somehow. Okay. And And so it could be acne or other type of breakouts. It's going to be itchy skin. It could be dull complexion and dark circles under your eyes. Dark circles under your eyes are different than little bags or like you haven't gotten sleep really good in the last week or something like that. No, it's like the color around your eyes begins to change and it's much more darker under here, and not just here. It could be around your whole entire eye. Okay. That was one of the signs that I noticed when my mom was ill, or when she was kind of getting towards the end of her time here on earth, was that she had really dark circles around her eyes. And also it seemed like her eyes were a little bit more sunk in. And I was like, okay, something's not right here. But also she stopped eating, and she wouldn't drink any water. And so she only lasted like 4.5 days from that very day. Wednesday. It was Wednesday when she stopped eating. And it's funny because I think she ate breakfast, but I had a nurse come back to help in the afternoon, and she refused to eat lunch. And my mom never refused to eat food. Like, she loved food. So she had some breakfast, but she did say she kind of had to force her to eat it a little bit. And so by lunchtime, she was like, I'm not eating nothing. And we tried again at dinner. She wouldn't eat nothing. And so that was Wednesday. Thursday, nothing. Saturday, nothing. And Sunday, she passed away. And somewhere between really Saturday night, early Sunday morning. But anyway, point being, dark circles around the eyes is a sign. It's not a sign of death per se, but it's a sign that you're having some kind of serious liver and or kidney problem, and you need to look at it. So if you're paying attention to your body signs and symptoms, and you're paying attention to your blood work, you should never get to the point of dark circles around your eyes. Okay, you shouldn't get to that point, because the signs and symptoms that you're seeing before then is going to be an indicator. Hey, doc, we need to do some tests. Hey, doc, this is what's going on in my body. Let's do some tests and figure out what's going on with me. This is you being an advocate for your own health. Okay. Okay, here are some signs in the category of fluid and elimination. Swelling in your hands, in your feet, or in your face. That's an indication you're not processing things properly. If you're having frequent urination, constantly going to pee, and not just in the middle of the night, but in the middle of the day, that's an indication that something's going on with your kidneys. Okay. If you're having very little urination and you go in the bathroom like 2, 3, 4 times a day, that's a problem, because remember, your kidney is part of this filtration system, and it's supposed to be pushing out waste. One of the ways it push out waste is your urine. Okay. So if you're not urinating enough, then that means these toxins are staying in your body, and that's never a good thing. Okay. So these are some signs and symptoms to look for. And looking in the bowl, remember, if your urine is really dark, that can be an indicator. Okay. Now, by itself, it's not a huge indicator, because it could be what you ate. For example, if you had a bunch of carrots, or you had a dish with carrots in it, and you go to the bathroom, your urine could be darker. Or when you go to number 2, your stool could be more orangey. But you know that's because of what you ate. If you had some kale or collard greens for dinner and for lunch, and then you go to the bathroom and you notice your stool is more green. So these are natural signs and symptoms, and those are okay. But if your urine is very dark and it's not because of vitamins you just ate, or that you just took, or food you just ate, it could mean something else. If you have a strong body odor, not just your underarms, but just like your body has an odor, or your genitalia has an odor, that's an indicator that something is wrong, that there's some toxicity going on, and you need to have that checked. Okay. So let's go over the fluid and elimination signs again, because these are clear indicators that you can determine if something is going on with your body. Let your doctor know so they can do the proper test, and we can find out early if there's anything going on with your kidneys or your liver before it becomes a terrible problem. Okay. Swelling in your hands, your feet, or your face. Frequent urination or very little urination. Dark urine. Foamy or sudsy urine, and a strong body color. Your urine should not look like syrup. It should not look like that. You should not have bubbles or foam in your urine. Something is going on. Okay. So pay attention to that. This is linked to kidney stress and detox imbalance. Now, here's another area. This is the sixth area. Your hormones and your moods. And this is good. So this is not just women, but this is men too. Mood swings, irritability, anxiety, and low libido. Okay. And so for women, this is not just the time of the month. This is the time of the month is over and you still don't want to do nothing. You always don't want to do nothing. That's an indicator. That's a problem, especially for your husband. But it could be an indicator that something else is going on in your body and you need to get that checked. Same thing for men. Okay. If you can't stand up or you don't want to do anything, that's an indicator because that's not men's nature, right? So this is a sign and a symptom having to do with your hormones and your mood swings that can show you that other things are going on in your body. So this is a great place to start. That's connected to your liver hormone processing and also your gut-brain connection. Okay, weight and metabolic signs. If you're gaining weight, especially in the midsection, that is an indicator that there's something going on. So your kidney or your liver may be involved, or it can just be your digestion. Okay, it could be involved. If you're having a hard time losing weight, like you've been going to the gym or you've been exercising, you've been drinking your water, you're eating healthy, you're still not losing weight, something is going on why that's happening. Because if you're doing all the right things, your body should be changing according to the lifestyle habits and the things that you're doing. If you feel inflamed or you feel puffy or you wake up some days and you just feel like puffy, not necessarily that you gain weight, but you feel puffy or you feel like your arm or your skin is tight. That's showing that there's inflammation in your body. If this keeps happening over, let's say, a week, a couple of weeks, you definitely want to get that checked. Here's a caveat. If you're waking up and you're like, wow, I feel really puffy today, the first thing you should say is, what did I eat yesterday? Because if you ate some salty foods, it can cause inflammation in your body. Or if you had one of those sugar cravings days and you had cake, breakfast, lunch, and dinner with every meal, then there's an overload of sugar in your body and your body is reacting to what you ate. So the first thing to ask is, okay, what did I eat yesterday? Or what did I eat for the last 2 days? Because your body is trying to process that out. If you're waking up feeling puffy, inflamed every day for weeks, you need to get checked. You need to get to a doctor and you need to tell them how you're feeling and you need to get some tests done. Okay. So don't take these signs as, oh, it's okay, or I'll just wait. The sooner, men, I'm talking to you, the sooner you go get checked is the better off you're going to be. Many of the problems can be eliminated or cannot become a big problem at all if you get checked out early enough. Don't wait till the last minute because I know how y'all don't want to go to the doctor. Okay. Not every test is going to hurt. They're not going to always poke you in the places that you don't want to be poked by a doctor. Like, I get it. But especially if you have a woman in your life that loves you or children that love you and just family overall, get the test. Because if you get the test early, there's time for course correction. But there's a very little time for course correction if you wait to the last minute and then you have this horrible blood test results and all of these problems, cirrhosis of the liver and, poor kidney function or kidney damage, and you got to go on dialysis. Now you had a whole host of issues that you could have just course corrected and made a few changes. Okay. I have to keep my eye on you. Okay. Sleep issues. If you're having trouble falling asleep, it may not just be insomnia. That is an indicator that other things are going on in your body or that your body's not processing properly. Okay. If you keep waking up between the hours of 1 a.m. and 3 a.m., this is an indicator that you may have stressful liver. So do not take these things for granted. And this is why you need to keep like a health diary or a health journal. Okay, I'm going to be releasing one soon, by the way. So you can write these things down. Because sometimes we're on the go. We got a lot going on. We're thinking about different things. You may not realize, hey, every time I've been waking up to go to the bathroom the last week, it's been at like 2 a.m. I'm waking up at 3 a.m. on the dot. You want to make a note of that. And because you're likely not going to remember, especially over time, you want to make a note of that so that when you go to the doctor, you can look over your notes. And when they say, how you feeling? What's been going on? You can give them a list and you can let them know everything. Tell them as much as you can because it helps them to paint a picture of what's going on in your health because they're looking to hear the signs and symptoms that you're having to try to determine what your diagnosis is. Okay. Restless sleep. If you're sleeping, but you're not sleeping well, you're tossing and turning, you keep waking up and trying to go back to sleep, that's not normal. Something is going on. Does it mean that, you have a horrible problem? No, not necessarily. How long have you been having restless sleep? What are the other signs and symptoms that are going on? Restless sleep is just one indicator. So there are 3 sleep issues: trouble falling asleep, trouble staying asleep, restless sleep, those go together, or waking up between 1 and 3 a.m. Your liver should be processing the things that you've eaten for the day. And so if you keep waking up during this time, that's your liver telling you, I'm overwhelmed, I'm stressed, I need help. Okay, so we have to listen to our body. Okay. Most people are experiencing some type of sign or symptom every day, unless you're really in good optimal health. Okay. And they may call it normal because they're used to feeling this way every day. But this is your body communicating and it's not normal. Okay. If you've had some of the things I just went over, it's not normal for you to feel that way. Once in a blue moon, yes. Consistently, no. And you want to get some tests done. Okay. All right. I think I did that. Okay, digestive discomfort, low energy, skin issues, and poor inflammation. If that's all that you remembered, look for those signs and symptoms. Digestive disorders, and you're going to know that because you're going to be uncomfortable if you have acid reflux or constipation or diarrhea. So digestive discomfort, low energy, skin issues, you're having a rash or hives or some type of breakout, acne, and you didn't have that before, that's an indicator. And poor elimination. Digestive discomfort, low energy, skin issues, and poor elimination. I'll do it that way. It's easier. Okay. That is an indication that your digestive system or your liver and or your kidneys need support. Okay. I'm done. I poured out. I gave you all my notes, all that I wanted to tell you, and some of my funny stories and my own testimony. Do you have any questions? Do I need to further explain anything I went over, or do you have any questions? Have you noticed that any of the signs and symptoms I went over, have you been experiencing any of those things? Go ahead and put in the comments. Okay, you said, no, I was listening. Good. I hope you learned something tonight and you can use this information so that you can be healthy because we need you. Your family needs you. I need you. And I don't know who else needs you. And the other rooms that you moderate, they need you too. So make sure you're listening and paying attention. Okay, so that's something we can talk about. Struggle sleeping. Is it falling asleep or is it staying asleep? Now, I know you keep late hours because I keep late hours and you be on my lives. So we be up late. We don't want to do that all the time. At least get good sleep on the other days. Magnesium can help you to sleep better. Melatonin can help you to sleep better. Seriously, water, because if you're dehydrated, your body's not working properly, and that can be affecting your sleep as well. If you're not sleeping properly, your body's trying to tell you something. And so we just need to listen. So this is where the health journal or diary or whatever can help you to recognize and track the different signs and symptoms that you're having, because maybe you're tracking something. You're like, okay, you talk to the doctor about it, or they do a test and it's not an issue. But what if it is? And you haven't been tracking it? Because the doctor's going to always ask, well, how long have you had that? How long have you felt this way? When did this start? Okay. And we need to be able to give as accurate answer as possible, because if you've had it for 2 days, it's different than, oh, I've been feeling like this for 2 years. Or I've been feeling like this for 2 months. That means it's been going on for a prolonged period of time. And the the likelihood that something else can be wrong is higher the longer you've been having signs and symptoms. Okay, hope that that makes sense. So, nothing that I share is to alarm you. What I'm sharing with you is to educate you so that you know what to look for and you know the questions to ask your doctor. I want you to work together with your doctor, and I want you to get all your doctors to work together because they're all supposed to be looking over your health, very specific parts of your health. But at some point in time, y'all all got to come together. So, whatever the cardiologist is saying, share that with your primary care physician. Whatever the rheumatologist is saying, share that with the cardiologist and the primary care. Whoever your team of doctors are, you need to get them to work together as a team. And I did this so well with my mom. Now, she didn't have no high blood pressure, no diabetes, nothing. She wasn't on any medication. It was just her brain. But literally, her brain was deteriorating, and nobody knew why. Okay. So she went to heaven because her brain stopped working. Her brain stopped telling her body to digest food, and not to walk and not to talk. So it was a progression. But one of the questions I kept asking is why and why and why and what does this mean and what is this for? And some of those questions never got answered. They didn't know. But oftentimes I found they weren't even looking. So the fact that I was asking and demanding answers had to put them on their P's and Q's. And although they didn't find the answer, ultimately she went to be with the Lord, and she has no more pain, no more tears, no more struggle, no more none of that. But there was something going on, and I never found out biologically what that was. Okay. So I want to save you from that. Okay. I want to empower you with information so that you can pay attention to your health and to equip you with what you need, because you're supposed to be a soldier in God's army. And there are things that are coming to this earth, and God needs his sons and daughters to be in position. And here's the thing. In the literal army, soldiers do not go to combat when they're wounded. If a person wants to enlist in one of the armed forces, but they have a health problem, 99% of the time they cannot go into the armed forces. And some forces, like let's say the Army, will say you have asthma, you cannot go in the Army. But you may be able to go in the Air Force, because some of the things that they do are less strenuous. We don't have to worry about you being in the field and in the desert and in the bushes, because you're going to have a different line of work in the Air Force. So it also depends on the branch. But generally speaking, if you have some known type of health issue, the armed forces are not going to accept you, because you become a weak link. I could say it that way. You become someone that needs to be looked out for. And they don't want you having some type of asthma attack or heart attack or whatever out in the field. Okay. So God needs you in his army, and God wants his sons and his daughters to be healed. And that's of all wounds, the soulish wounds, the trauma wounds, the spiritual wounds, as well as the physical wounds, the things that are going in our body. And so that's my assignment. That's why I'm here. Mondays is the spiritual root we're dealing with. Mondays, I do Bible study and prayer. We have midnight prayer. So I take prayer requests, and I also pray over the things that the Lord gave me to pray over. That starts at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Mondays. And then on Tuesdays, we talk about soul care, soul wounds, breaking soul ties, word curses. On Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern, and we're dealing with trauma from the soul. Yes, the Lord directs my path. I commit my ways unto him, and he shows me wherein I should walk always. I live with the Lord. I live by the Holy Spirit guiding and directing me into all truth. Hallelujah. So Tuesdays are soul care and trauma recovery. And then Wednesdays, that's where we are right now, Wellness Wisdom Wednesday. And that starts at 10 p.m. And so this is about equipping you so that your body can be healthy, letting you know the signs and symptoms of what to look for, working with your doctor, what questions you need to ask your doctor, so that you're working together as a cohesive team so that you can walk in the divine health that God has for you. Okay. All right. So that's all I have. Thank you so much for being here. You now know what I come on live for on Mondays, 11:30 p.m., Tuesdays at 9 p.m. for dealing with issues of your soul and trauma. And then Wednesdays is dealing with all of the issues of the body and giving you the education, information, and empowerment on what to do so that your body can be healthy naturally. That is God's way. 3 John 2 says, "Beloved, I wish above all things that you prosper and walk in health, even as your soul prospers." So, in order to have good physical health, your soul has to also prosper, meaning your soul has to also be healthy. Okay. We got to forgive. We got to let go. We got to release offense. We got to release bitterness. And we do it because God said to do it, basically, because we want to be obedient to the Lord and because we don't want our prayers to be hindered. Okay. So, because we don't want our prayers to be hindered, we want to make sure that we are obeying the Lord. And He says to forgive. He says, give Him the problems. We can run into Him and be safe. We can come to Him with anything. Okay. And at any time. So that's all I have. Thank you so much for being here today. I hope that you learned something. I hope I didn't overload you too much with information, but I'd rather you listen, hear it, and then go back and watch the replay. And then you can take notes on the things that pertain to you. And maybe it's not you. Maybe you're here getting the information and it's for someone that you know and love. And you want to be able to help them and circumvent any health issues that they may be having. Okay. Okay, so that's all I got. Thank you so much for being here. God bless you, and good night.